Now on YouTube, it's time for some alternative commentary action with the Commentary Hub.
There's headed by Marina, and it's 2-1 to Arsenal.
Look at that pass! Goal for Manchester City!
Zaka takes this corner, whips it in, it's headed and it's a goal, and it's that man, Gabriel.
Liverpool have equalised. Lovely improvisational touch from Curtis Jones.
Oh, what a goal! Wow, take it out! Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending where you are across the world. Welcome to the Commentary Hub's coverage, alternative coverage of the Premier League encounter is Newcastle United against Manchester United, taking place at St James's Park this afternoon. I'm Russ Swilling and I'll be your presenter for this game today. Before we get the team notes for this match, which is kicking off very, very shortly, in just around about 9 minutes time, let me bring you the Premier League results from earlier today in the 2 o'clock kickoffs. Chelsea 2, Ipswich Town 2, Liverpool 2, West Ham United 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 4, Tottenham Hotspur 2. In Scotland today, we've had some games up in the Scottish matches today, up in Scottish Premiership. Full-time scorers Aberdeen 2, Rangers 2, and it's currently Hibernian 4, Dundee 0. That's coming into the second half stoppage time, closing moments of that game. There are some matches in some other leagues as well, including Serie A and La Liga. We'll go to La Liga first. So Osasuna 2, Girona 1 is a full-time score. Into the second half, and it's Deportivo Alaves 0, Real Madrid 1 in that one. Before we bring you the Serie A and Bundesliga scores thus far, let's turn our attention to our featured match this afternoon with the match commentator Paul James is with us, and Paul can bring us up to date with the team changes for Newcastle United against Manchester United.
Yes, well, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Russ. Good afternoon, Nick. For Newcastle United, they've had some troubling news this week with Eddie Howe going into hospital. We all wish him all the best and we hope he recovers very, very soon. Jason Tindall will sit on the bench today. They make no changes today following on their 3-0 impressive away victory at Leicester. For Manchester United, controversy surrounding them, well, it never changes, does it? The change today in goal, though, is Altay Bayindir as Andre Onana is completely dropped from the squad. So, no Andre Onana, and Tom Heaton is the backup goalkeeper. Excuse me. That's the first change. Victor Lindelof steps in for Harry Maguire. Young Harry Hamas makes his debut today for Manchester United. He steps in for Patrick Dorgu and Joshua Zirkzee for Rasmus Højlund. And those are your team changes, Russ.
Thank you very much there, Paul. And there's a game going off at Wembley today as well. We'll tell you about that in just a moment. Let's go to some Serie A results thus far. Atalanta 2, Bologna 0. Fiorentina versus Parma and Hellas Verona v Girona are finished 0-0 this afternoon in the German Bundesliga. Into stoppage time, there is VfB Stuttgart 1, Werder Bremen 2. The Eintracht Frankfurt versus Heidenheim kicking off very, very shortly. In the French League A, in Etienne 3, Brest 3. The full-time score is just underway. 9 minutes scoring these matches. Angers 1, Montpellier 0, and Lyon 0, Rennes 1 as well. Auxerre against Lyon is an evening kick-off at 7:45 this evening. In the other matches taking place in England, there's a game going off at Wembley Stadium. It's the EFL Trophy, where Birmingham City are taking on Peterborough United in the final of the virtual trophy, or EFL Trophy as is known as the virtual trophy for sponsorship purposes, and that is currently Birmingham City 0, Peterborough United 2 is a latest score in that game this afternoon, and we'll keep you updated at half time with the full time score from that game in the EFL Trophy today as well for you. So we'll keep you up to date with that today. Heading into this game, then Manchester United 0-0 draw last time out against Manchester City, as Paul mentioned. Newcastle going into this game on back of a 3-0 win over Leicester City last time out. In that game, earned a fantastic long-range effort from Fabian Schär from the halfway line. Well, just inside his own half, it hit the crossbar before Murphy bundled the ball home to put his side 2-0 up there. We bring the full match commentary to us. Let's bring in your match commentator again. Paul James is with us. And Paul, just want to get your overall thoughts on Onana being dropped out of the entire squad today. Do you think it's the right decision from Ruben Amorim?
Well, I think it's the only decision he could make, because there is a point where where the blame stops at the manager and the fans begin to stop respecting a manager who keeps picking a goalkeeper that keeps making mistakes. He didn't help himself, of course, by making the comments that he made about Leon. And he got those comments from back in his face by former Manchester United player Nemanja Matic, who said that he was the worst goalkeeper in Manchester United's recent history, and of course made two errors in Wednesday's draw in France in the Champions League. So none of this is entirely surprising, and it probably contributed as to why he's been dropped from the entire squad today, and he's not even on the bench.
Yes, absolutely. Big news that he's not even on the bench tonight. Tom Heaton, who's normally third choice goalkeeper, promoted up to number 2 goalkeeper this afternoon. It's going to be a big game. First, we'll see how Bayinda does in the Premier League as well, Paul. Big game for him to come into with Newcastle in some good form at the moment as well.
Oh, it's a firecracker for him to come into, because the atmosphere at St James's Park is one of the loudest in the country, if not the loudest. And for him, it's very, very important he does not concede an early goal. Like, he needs to get a hold of the ball early, perhaps make a couple of early saves, and do not give up an early goal. And that's a confidence booster for Bayinda.
Yes, absolutely, Paul, absolutely. Just want to say a very good afternoon to Media Radio Jingles on Gaming, who says, good afternoon, Russ and Paul. Well, this will be another interesting Sunday afternoon game. They do think that Newcastle will get the win today. We'll see what happens. The teams are getting ready to come out onto the pitch ahead of kick-off then, with kick-off fast approaching. Paul, one final question from me to you before we give you the floor to yours. Score prediction time. What is yours today, my friend?
Well, it's a tricky one, but I think Newcastle are going to win it. I'm not going to give you a score prediction, but I will predict Newcastle will win it.
For me, I'm going to say Newcastle to win it by 2-0 this afternoon. Let's see if my prediction comes correct. As the teams are ready for the kick-off, only one thing left for me to do is enter your match commentator Paul James to give you all the important lineups and then the full face-off commentary of Newcastle against Manchester United.
Thanks very much, Ross, and once again, good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good evening, wherever you're listening to around the world. You're tuned into the Commentary Hub's live audio coverage of Newcastle United versus Manchester United. And as usual, let's start off with the team lineup, starting with Newcastle United. They have Nick Pope in goal, Timo Livramento, Dan Burn, Fabian Schär and Kieran Trippier are your back four. Joel Linton, Sandro Tonali and captain Bruno Guimaraes in the middle, with Harvey Barnes, Alexander Isak and Jacob Murphy leading the line. For Manchester United, of course, a big change coming in goal. Altay Bayinda making his Premier League debut today. Lenny Yoro and Victor Lindelof and Nusa Mesraoui will support with a back three. The wing backs are Harry Amas and Diogo Dalot, with Christian Eriksen and Manuel Ugarte in the middle. Alejandro Garnacho, captain Bruno Fernandes will operate behind lone striker Joshua Zirkzee. The substitutes for Newcastle United, they have backup goalkeeper Martin Dubravka, Matt Targett, Emil Kraft, Sean Langstaff, Lewis Smiley, Callum Wilson, Anthony Gordon, William Osula and 17-year-old Sean Neve, if he comes on today, will make his debut. for Newcastle United. For Manchester United, Tom Heaton, as Ross mentioned, promoted to backup goalkeeper. Harry Maguire, Patrick Dorgu, Luke Shaw, Mason Mount, Casemiro, Kobe Mainu, Rasmus Højlund and Aiden Heaven. And your referee today is Chris Kavanagh from Ashton-under-Lyne in Greater Manchester. The assistants are Lee Betts, Dan Cook, Samuel Barrett, Peter Banks and Tim Woods. Peter Banks and Tim Wood are in VAR. And the game is about to get underway with Manchester United in their traditional jerseys, red shirts, white shorts, white socks, attacking the goal to our right. Newcastle in their black and white striped shirts with the black shorts and black socks. It's a long ball by Kieran Trippier, played forward to Jacob Murphy. Tries to play the ball in the middle. Bayinda comes for it, but Victor Lindelof just takes the ball. Maybe there wasn't a shout from the goalkeeper there. It's cleared away in any case, and it's picked up again by the number 7, Joel Linton. He drops it back to Livramento. Livramento down the left-hand side now for Newcastle. Drops the ball back to Joel Linton again. Oh, good ball across by Joel Linton to Jacob Murphy. Corner of the penalty area. He pulls it back. Kieran Trippier surely in an offside position. And it's put in the net by Joel Linton, but that is going to be offside on the right back for Newcastle United by quite some distance there, Kieran Trippier, no question. And we're going to get a free kick for Manchester United. Media Radio Jingles and Gaming says he thinks it's going to be a 3-1 victory to Newcastle. Well, that might well be the case. We'll see. It's cleared downfield. Picked up by Joel Linton. He dropped it to Livramento, who gave the ball away. And now here's Alejandro Garnacho down the right. He checks back and drops it to Diogo Dalot. Into the middle to Manuel Ugarte. And back to Victor Lindelof. And now here's Lenny Yoro inside his own half. Played over the halfway line to Xerxes. Good play by Xerxes. Gives the ball to Garnacho. Garnacho returns it to Dalot. Dalot plays it down the line, looking for the chasing Alejandro Garnacho. But that was a fine challenge by Dan Burn. Puts the ball out of play there. Excuse me, I'm sorry. If I cough, I'll try and mute every time I do it. It's very annoying for the listener, I suppose, to hear that. It's Diogo Dalot with the throw-in, level with the Newcastle penalty area down the right-hand side. Here's Manuel Ugarte. Ugarte gives the ball to Lenny Yoro. Manuel Ugarte tries a shot, but it's actually blocked by his own player, Joshua Xerxes. Tino Livramento trying to bring the ball away. But he runs right into Diogo Dalot there, and it's won back by Manuel Ugarte. And the ball down the right-hand side there by Bruno Fernandes to Alejandro Garnacho. Back to Fernandes, it's just a little bit behind him. He drops the ball there to Nusa Mesraoui. Mesraoui has the ball back again. Plays the ball down the right there to Garnacho. Garnacho to Mesraoui and to Ugarte. Ugarte goes all the way back to and it's played to Mesraoui again. Mesraoui clears the ball downfield. It's intercepted by Dan Burn down there, who just puts the ball out of play. For Altay Bayinda, his Premier League debut today, of course, a big day for him. If he can play even a steady performance today, you have to think the number 1 shirt is his for the taking at the moment. Harry Hamas, the other one making the debut for Manchester United today. Here's Murphy. Murphy with a shot! Oh, and it just whistles wide. An effort from 30 yards by Jacob Murphy just flies by Bayinda's right-hand post, and Bayinda can consider himself quite lucky here. Manchester United's defence slow really at closing down Jacob Murphy. It just whistles past the post. I don't think the goalkeeper was getting there. Oh, a fraction wide. And it'll be a goal kick for Manchester United. And, well, chance for Jacob Murphy was there. If you look at Fabian Schär just organising the back line, finally the goal kick is going to be taken by Bayinda. cleared downfield. The header is won by Dan Byrne, only as far as Christian Eriksen. It's won in the centre of the midfield by Bruno Guimaraes. And the ball is played forward there, looking for Isak. Good interception by Lenny Yoro. And Eriksen wins the ball back there, drops it back there. That's a handball surely by Harry Amas. It looked like he brought it down with a hand there, I have to say. And Chris Kavanagh couldn't have been any closer, could he? Here's Alejandro Garnacho. Just drops the ball back to Harry Amas. And Manuel Ugarte goes all the way down to the right-hand side to be picked up here by Diogo Dalot. Dalot plays the ball to Ugarte, and Ugarte will be very disappointed with that pass. It goes behind for a goal kick. As the look of disgust showing on his face and also on the face of Ruben Amorim. So it's a goal kick for Newcastle United. Ruben Amorim won 6 of 20 Premier League games as the head coach of Manchester United. The win ratio there being only 30%. That's not what Manchester United fans are used to, but they are being patient with Amorim. He hasn't had hardly anything to spend, so it should be interesting if Manchester United are able to bring in some new players in the summer and see how that affects the team. It's dropped back there by Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes drops it back to Fabian Schär. Schär across to Kieran Trippier. Back to Murphy and back to Trippier. Harvey Barnes, Fabian Schär again, launches the ball long. Just trying to peel away there was Alexander Isak, but it's won by Lenny Yoro. The ball is now with Harry Amas. Amas drops the ball back to Eriksen. Eriksen midway inside the Manchester United half of the field. He's just over on that left-hand side and he's playing it short to Lenny Yoro. Yoro goes all the way back to Bayinda. Bayinda now clears the ball out to Diogo Dalot, out wide on the right. And it's picked up by Ugarte. Dalot again. And again, Mesraoui goes back to the goalkeeper as Newcastle pressing this Manchester United backline, forcing them back here. And really, that's what Newcastle really ought to be doing early on in this game, is pressing and maybe getting some shots away on Bayinda, with it being his Premier League debut. See if they can unnerve the goalkeeper a little bit. Bayinda clears the ball down there under pressure from Isak. It's a good clearance. It finds Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes lifts the ball forward, but it's intercepted there by Tonali. A challenge again, no, by Fernandes. Picked up again by Sandro Tonali, just over the halfway line. Plays the ball forward, and going down under pressure there was Jacob Murphy, but he gets right back up again. Gets no sympathy from the referee, Chris Kavanagh. Picked up again by Lenny Yoro. He goes back to the goalkeeper Bayinda. Bayinda, no messing about, clears the ball downfield over the halfway line. It goes over Joshua Zirkzee's head and into the Newcastle half of the field, and it's picked up by Kieran Trippier. Trippier plays the ball across here to Fabian Schär. Schär forward to Guimaraes. Guimaraes just holding the ball up and drops it back to Murphy, but Murphy has given the ball away to Ugarte. And here's Alejandro Garnacho with Diogo Dalot overlapping on the right-hand side. Dalot gets the cross into the back post. Zirkzee somehow keeps it in play. He's claiming handball there against Jacob Murphy. The referee isn't going to give that. I don't think Murphy was even aware of it. Here's Alexander Isak. Just on the halfway line. Isak tries to turn back into the Newcastle half of the field, but it goes out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in. As we take a look at this again, kept him well. It would be impossible to give that penalty. I mean, he had his hands right by his side. He wasn't going to get his hands out of the way of that one. That would be a ridiculous penalty to give. Bayinda clears the ball downfield, looking for Zirkzee, and he's fouled. Right on the halfway line, it's going to be a free kick to Manchester United. We've had 9 minutes gone here. It's Newcastle 0, Manchester United 0. Free kick to be taken quickly by Manchester United. Eriksen just drops it back to Lenny Yoro. Lenny Yoro's got the ball back in his own half of the field now. And the ball is played forward, looking for Alejandro Garnacho. Garnacho drops it back to Nusa Mesraoui. The ball is won back though. The flick on by Isak there was looking for Bruno Guimaraes, but Lenny Yoro well wide awake to that. Clears the ball away. It goes only as far as Joe Linton. Joe Linton just shields off the challenge of Alejandro Garnacho, and Garnacho is alleged to have fouled Joe Linton, and we're going to get a free kick to Newcastle United here, midway inside the Manchester United half of the field. Played 10 minutes, and so far it's fairly even Stevens between both sides. Neither side really dominating the other at the moment. It's just a feeling out process, if you will. The one shot we have had by Jacob Murphy just whistled past by Inder's goal. Manchester United having a high line here right outside the penalty area. But the free kick is going to be taken by the much experienced Kieran Trippier, former England international. Going to swing this one in, looking on the back post there for Guimaraes, but Bayinda comes out and claims that with authority. That will build his confidence up. And you see it was launched in there, just came out, plucked that one out of the air. And he clears the ball downfield. It's over Joshua Zirkzee head and goes all the way through to his opposite number, Nick Pope. Here is Dan Burn. Gives the ball there to Livramento. Back to Burn. Burn drops the ball back to the goalkeeper and cleared away. Only as far as Kieran Trippier. Forward to Bruno Guimaraes. Guimaraes is dispossessed, and here now is Christian Eriksen for Manchester United. Quick flick. Oh, that's brilliant football by Manchester United. Oh, what a super save by Nick Pope. Oh, that deserved a goal. That deserved a goal. What super football that was. Started with Christian Eriksen, a quick 1-2 flick by Bruno Fernandes and Joshua Zirkzee, and it resulted in the pass again to Zirkzee and a super save by Nick Pope, but a beautiful 1-2 flick there between Zirkzee and Fernandes. A good save by the goalkeeper, and we've got a corner for Manchester United. Here's Bruno Fernandes. Back to Eriksen. Fernandes whips the ball in again. Oh, and it goes to Nick Pope's near post, and it's a comfortable save for the England international, one you would expect him to make. And he releases the ball to Alexander Isak. Isak steps inside. Plays the ball across to Fabian Schär. Schär to Kieran Trippier over the halfway line to Jacob Murphy. Murphy drops the ball back. Trippier again. Here's Guimaraes. Guimaraes to Dan Burn. Dan Burn down the right-hand side to Tino Livramento. And the cross is whipped in, looking for Alexander Isak. Was whipped in there, I think, by Harvey Barnes in the end. And, Alexander Isak not there. 20 goals this season for Alexander Isak. Incredible goal scorer, created interest from clubs all over Europe. And there is Tino Livramento. Drops the ball back into his own half of the field to Fabian Schär. It's a good ball down the line to Jacob Murphy from Kieran Trippier. Murphy cutting inside again. Launches the ball in, but nobody there but the goalkeeper, Altay Bayinda. Plucks that one out of the air. And so far for Newcastle United, both sides have come close. Perhaps Manchester United the closest, forcing that good save from Nick Pope. As that's cleared downfield, but again over the head of Joshua Zirkzee, and only finds Fabian Schär. Fabian Schär just drops the ball back to the goalkeeper, Nick Pope, for a comment in the comment section. That was an excellent save from Pope. Media, radio, jingles and gaming. It was indeed. I actually felt it deserved a goal, a build-up like that. That would have been one of the goals of the season. Here is Lenny Yoro. Goes back to the goalkeeper Bayinda. And Bayinda plays it short there to Nusa Mesraoui. Mesraoui clears the ball forward. It's intercepted by Dan Burns, and it's a wonderful interception. Finds Alexander Isak. He tries to cross the ball in, looking for Bruno Guimaraes, but it's just over the head of the Brazilian, and it goes out of play. But this was a clearance away. Look at Dan Burn there, just getting a wonderful interception. Turned out to be a superb pass, and Alexander Isak just looking for the cross there, but it was a ways from Bruno Guimaraes and behind for a goal kick. But well, we've seen some interesting football from both sides in this first 15 minutes. 0-0 so far. Jason Tyndall doing the job from the bench today, with Eddie Howe currently being in the hospital. We all hope he makes a very swift recovery, and he's back on the bench real soon. And here's Eriksson, picks up the ball inside the centre circle, across over to the right-hand side to Agate. To Harry Hamas. It's now back with Agate. And now Lenny Yoro, right on the halfway line, looking for options left and right. He gives the ball to Eriksson. Eriksson moving towards the centre circle, drops it back to Victor Lindelof, and now to Mesraoui. Mesraoui gives it to Diogo Dalot, who slips, and here's Tino Livramento now, and a good challenge by Manuel Agate. But he's given a free kick and a yellow card. I'm not sure that's harsh. That looked like a good challenge to me. I'll take a look at that again, but that looked like a good challenge to me. He slips there, does Livramento. I'd need to look at that again. But to me, let's have a look. We'll get a good view of it from this angle. Oh, perhaps he doesn't. Perhaps he catches him first. But it's a free kick anyway. I don't know if it's worthy of a yellow card. He went for the ball and came very close to getting it. But it's a free kick to Manchester United anyway. To Newcastle United anyway. And it's right on the corner of the penalty area, about 10 yards in from the touchline. It's certainly a good position for Kieran Trippier. He's going to launch this one into the penalty area. Dan Burn in there, Isak in there, Joe Linton in there. Kieran Trippier just taking his time. May just launch this one in. He does towards the back post. It's over everybody's head and goes out for a goal kick. And a disappointing free kick from Kieran Trippier's perspective. Certainly not one for his scrapbook. It's a goal kick to Manchester United. Birmingham City thought they'd pulled back a goal, but it was ruled out for offside in the game of the EFL Trophy going on, if anybody's interested in that. It's cleared away by Bayinda. It goes off the head of Harry Hamas and out. He just wasn't tall enough to get on the end of that clearance by Bayinda. Bruno Guimaraes from the throw-in, right by the corner flag, gets the cross in, but there's nobody there. Nobody there really helping him either, and it goes behind for a goal kick. Well, Newcastle United, we know what they're capable of. We know what they've got in their squad. They've really yet to test Bayinda in this first half. They've had one shot, which was just off target. And the Turkish goalkeeper now is going to launch this ball downfield, right-footed, over the halfway line. Up in the air does Fabian Schär to win that header, brought down by Joel Linton and cleared into the Manchester United half by Tino Livramento, but there's nobody there, and it just rolls back through to Bayinda once again. Newcastle United 0, Manchester United 0. We're approaching the 19th minute mark in this first half at St James's Park. It's back with Lenny Yoro. Yoro back to the goalkeeper, Bayinda. Plays it short there to Agate, picked up by Diogo Dalot. Dalot lifts the ball over the halfway line. Chasing this one is Bruno Fernandes, but fantastic defending by Kieran Trippier. Gets it back to Nick Pope and he clears the ball downfield. Just got in front of Bruno Fernandes there and got the ball back to the goalkeeper. And it's now with Lenny Yoro. Yoro back to the goalkeeper. And it's now with Mesraoui. Gives the ball to Diogo Dalot. Dalot plays the ball forward. Cursing this one is Joshua Zirkzee. Brings it down well, does Xerxes, and plays the ball through, looking for the chasing Christian Eriksen. But getting back there is Jacob Murphy, and he plays the ball back to the goalkeeper, and it's cleared away downfield. As both sides at the moment just lacking that final creative touch to try to create something. Both sides so far not really creating a great deal. As here is Jacob Murphy. Plays the ball forward, it was intercepted. Garnacho just slips for a moment, and nipping in and winning the ball is Harvey Barnes. And he drops it back to Dan Burn. Burn played across to his central defensive partner, Shah, who gives the ball to Kieran Trippier. Here's Sandro Tonali, just inside his own half of the field. Over the halfway line and played forward there, looking for Alexander Isak. Isak is met by the challenge of Harry Mas, and the ball is put out of play. It's going to be a throw-in for Newcastle United, right over by the corner flag. And it looks like Isak is going to leave this alone for Kieran Trippier. As we take a look at Luke Shaw on the bench there and Mason Mount. We'll no doubt see them at some point today. Throw-in taken quickly, thrown back here to Fabian Schär. Schär is now picked up by Guimaraes. And here is Joe Linton. Joe Linton drops it back to Dan Burn. Dan Burn drops the ball back, and well out of his goal there is Nick Pope, almost at the centre circle. Gives the ball to Fabian Schär. Fabian Schär launches the ball long, looking for Harvey Barnes. It's a good header by Diogo Dalot, only as far as Livramento. Livramento gives the ball back to Harvey Barnes again, finds Joe Linton. Across there to Guimaraes. Guimaraes, long ball over, looking for Jacob Murphy. Tried to keep the ball in play, but it goes out of play for a goal kick. 22 minutes gone, and so far it is a game of wayward passes for the most part in this first half. And it's going to be a goal kick here for Manchester United, which Bainder will take. One shot off target for Newcastle, 2 shots and 1 on target for Manchester United. Touches in the opposition box are only 4 and 3 in favour of Manchester United. Gives you some idea how this game is going. Manchester United dominating possession on 63%, but as I said, they're really not doing much with it, and Newcastle aren't doing much with the possession that they're having either. Here's Jacob Murphy. Murphy holds the ball up to Guimaraes. Guimaraes tries to swing the ball into the middle to Isak! Oh! And he just diverts that header just wide. Well, he had Bainder scrambling. Guimaraes swung the ball in. He was onside. He just diverted the header away from the goalkeeper. I think Bainder had that one covered. Just diverted it wide though. And now here's the cross is coming again by Trippier, but it's blocked by Bruno Fernandes. And now he clears the ball, but only as far as Dan Burn, as we're getting a little bit of sustained pressure here now by Newcastle United. It's Livramento. Tries to feed the ball through to Harvey Barnes, but it's blocked. And here's Joshua Xerxes now for Manchester United. We have 11 minutes of injury time in the EFL Trophy. Still 2-0 to Peterborough, incidentally, if you're interested. Here's Murphy. Gives the ball to Trippier. Trippier plays the ball to the edge of the area to Isak. Isak lifts the ball over. A chance and a goal! And Newcastle United have scored, and it's Sandro Tonali. Well, that came out of nowhere. Newcastle United take the lead. It's Sandro Tonali on 24 minutes. No chance for the goalkeeper, really. Before he's had a chance to make any save of any note, he's picking the ball out the back of the net. It was a brilliant move actually by Newcastle. For the first time in this game, they put together some really good football. Sandro Tonali celebrates the goal for Newcastle United, and we'll take a look at it again. It started with a giveaway by Agate, and it was then picked up by Murphy. Murphy gave the ball to Trippier. It was actually a ball from Trippier to Isak. Isak flicked the ball up and lifted it over the United defence for Sandro Tonali to smash the ball in. It was a brilliant bit of play by Alexander Isak. A beautiful bit of improvisation over the top of the Manchester United defence and straight onto the left foot volley of Sandro Tonali. A brilliant bit of football by Newcastle United. And they take the 1-goal lead at home. And, well, how will Manchester United respond to this? Sandro Tonali, it's his 3rd Premier League goal of the season. Manchester United now behind. And here in the centre of the park is Lenny Yoro. Lenny Yoro drops the ball back to Victor Lindelof. Lindelof back to the goalkeeper. And he plays to play it to Lenny Yoro again. Yoro plays the ball forward, casted down by Xerxes. And going down under the challenge is Bruno Fernandes, but play goes on. And it's Joel Linton who plays the ball across to Kieran Trippier as Newcastle coming forward now. Do they sense blood? Can they pick up a 2nd goal here, I wonder? Jacob Murphy gives the ball to Guimaraes. It's back to Murphy inside the penalty area. Can Murphy get the cross in? Oh, it's a good block by Harry Amas. And again, Jacob Murphy gets the ball across, but there's nobody there this time but Manuel Ugarte. And Christian Eriksen drops it back there. And it's cleared away by Bruno Fernandes. And Manchester United now can stream forward. It's Diogo Dalla. Drops it back there to Nusa Mesraoui. Mesraoui back to Diogo Dalla and cleared forward there, but it's out of play from Bruno Fernandes, and it is a throw-in. And Manchester United now, well, they look a little bit ruffled there by that early goal. Here's Timo Livramento on the pressure from Diogo Dalla. Livramento drops the ball back to Dan Burn. Newcastle 1, Manchester United 0. The ball is across to Kieran Trippier, and here's Alexander Isak. Isak being fouled there by Victor Lindelof, and it's going to be a free kick to Newcastle United. And it's going to be taken, it's about 7 yards inside from the touchline on the right-hand side, midway inside the Manchester United half of the field. It requires a much better delivery by Kieran Trippier this time. We'll see if this one, what he can do with this. There's also, the ball is played forward there, looking for Alexander Isak. Bruno Fernandes not taking any chances, just puts the ball behind for a corner. It's going to be taken, I suspect, by Jacob Murphy, but we'll just see who's going over there. It might be Kieran Trippier. Indeed it is. So Kieran Trippier now is going to launch this ball in. The big men are up there. Dan Burn, Joel Linton, and Alexander Isak are all in there. It's played short, in fact, to Murphy. Livramento, back to Tonali. He's already got 1 goal. Tonali, he may try another strike here. Oh, and it just whistles wide. Oh, the Italian is in the mood today. He just curled that wide of Bayinder's goal, and I have to say, I think Bayinder, well, he may or may not have had it covered, but it was a super effort by Tonali. The goalkeeper was certainly scrambling to get across there, but it just goes behind, and it's going to be a goal kick. And Newcastle United 1, Manchester United 0 as we approach the half-hour mark here at St James's Park. And Manchester United are in a little spot trouble at the moment, as here is Bruno Guimaraes for Newcastle. Back to Kieran Trippier, to Tonali. Tonali's ball forward only finds Manuel Ugarte. Ugarte drops the ball back there to Amas. Amas sends the ball back to Lenny Yoro. And back to Victor Lindelof, who goes back to the goalkeeper. Cleared to Lindelof. Points dropped from winning positions this season, the fewest, 7, Newcastle. So they don't lose very often when they get ahead. But we'll see how this play goes on for the rest of the game, and Manchester United see if they can get back into it. It's Joel Linton, plays the ball forward there. It's a good pass, looking for Gimaresh, now finds the number 14, Alexander Isak. Isak plays the ball forward, finds Jacob Murphy. Murphy out wide to Trippier, down the right-hand side. Trippier to Gimaresh, corner of the penalty area there. Gimaresh drops it back to Trippier. Oh, it's a good ball looking for the return run of Murphy, but it's a good block there by Eriksson, and Manchester United can now move forward. Oh, he plays it off Ugarte, and well, that was fortunate for Manchester United. I have to say, Bruno Fernandes went down. I didn't see that as a free kick, and what could have resulted from that was a 3-on-1 for Newcastle. Well, it was the ball was played off Manuel Ugarte's back heel, which would have resulted in that 3-on-1, but then Bruno Fernandes was down and the referee has given a free kick. But there we have it. The free kick is taken by Lenny Yoro, and it's back to the goalkeeper Bayinda. Back to Yoro. And he once again goes back to the goalkeeper. He lifts it over to Diogo Dalla. Diogo Dalla just turning away from Livramento. Coming to meet him though is Joel Linton. But it's a good ball by Dallo, out to Garnacho down the right-hand side. Garnacho, ball played into the middle to Bruno Fernandes. It breaks loose almost as Joshua Zirkzee, but meeting him there is Jacob Murphy and winning the ball. Murphy plays the ball off Harry Hamas. If that ball goes out, it'll be a throw into Newcastle, surely. Indeed it is. Joshua Zirkzee perhaps not expecting that ball coming in. Alejandro Garnacho picks up the ball, he plays the ball across, and it actually takes a deflection off Bruno Fernandes, and perhaps Zirkzee not expecting that ball, but the throw-in is taken by Newcastle to Kieran Trippier, throws it to Joel Linton. Joel Linton gives the ball to Livramento. Storming forward here is Harvey Barnes for Newcastle in the penalty area, and he loses control as Harvey Barnes. He just stumbles over the ball and it rolls through harmlessly to Bayinda. And at half time, Russ will probably go through some of the scores for you at half time and just give you an update of what's going on the game in the EFL Trophy. We'll take a short break then and we'll be back for the second half, so make sure you stay with us. I can see this game getting very interesting. Here's Harvey Barnes, drops the ball back to Livramento, to Dan Burn. Dan Burn drops the ball back into his own half of the field, gives it to Fabian Schär, drops the ball back to Nick Pope, who goes long over the halfway line and out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in for Manchester United. Here's Lenny Yoro, and it's Christian Eriksen now for Manchester United. Drop back to the number 2, Victor Lindelof, and Mazraoui gets it off Lindelof, just plays it back to the goalkeeper, who releases it to Lenny Yoro. Oh, it's a lazy ball by Lenny Yoro and picked up by Jacob Murphy. And Manchester United have won Newcastle have won the ball in the middle of the park. Here's Joel Linton, good play by him. Joel Linton still got the ball, good challenge by Ugarte, but it only breaks loose. Therefore, Gimaresh, and now here's Harvey Barnes, back to Livramento, gets across it, it's wristed, oh, a super save! And that was from Alexander Isak, and finally cleared away by Manuel Ugarte. And that really was a super save from point blank range, as Isak had the ball just fall on his feet. You'd have bet your mortgage you would have got his 21st goal of the season, but a super save by the goalkeeper. And here's Bruno Gimaresh, Joel Linton, Isak, Tonali finds Joel Linton again. He's through now. It's Joel Linton round the goalkeeper. He's taking it wide. It's almost put in there, and it goes behind off Victor Lindelof for a corner. Newcastle coming so close to scoring the second. Alexander Isak on 2 occasions here. We'll start with the first one. The cross by Tino Livramento. Bayinda was not able to catch it. He palmed it out as far as Isak, but then made a fantastic save. And the second opportunity saw Isak go round the goalkeeper. He took it far too wide, but he lifted it and it almost dropped into the back post. The corner coming in. Joe Linton tries to win the header. It breaks away to Harvey Barnes on the right. Harvey Barnes going to swing the cross in. There's a header by Burns and just on top of the net. Oh, that was a chance for Newcastle there for Dan Burn. Look at this cross. Harvey Barnes, pinpoint. He might have been offside, Dan Burn, anyway, but it dropped onto the top of the net. Indeed, the official's flag went up on the far side, so it wouldn't have counted. 10 minutes to go till half-time. It's Newcastle United 1, Manchester United 0, as we look at Jorge Vital, the Manchester United first-team goalkeeping coach. And it's cleared downfield. Header on there by Dan Burn. Cleared away by Livramento, only as far as Agate. Agate surrenders possession to Joel Linton. And here's Bruno Guimaraes now. He plays the ball down the right-hand side. And chasing it now down the right is Kieran Trippier. Overlapping is Jacob Murphy. Jacob Murphy now cuts inside. Oh, it's a poor ball to Eriksson. That is a poor ball, and it's cleared away. And only as far as Tino Livramento, but Jacob Murphy, it was a promising break for Newcastle that time. Now Fabian Schär gives the ball to Joel Linton. Out to Guimaraes, across to the right-hand side to Murphy. Better ball in by Murphy, but just getting there first is Victor Lindelof ahead of Alexander Isak. And he has the ball now. He lifts the ball forward, looking for Xerxes. Nipping in and winning possession is Tonali. Finds Joel Linton, but Joel Linton is dispossessed by Manuel Agate. And Agate now plays the ball to Diogo Dalla. Diogo Dalla has got Garnacho overlapping on the right. Finds Garnacho through one-on-one, and it's 1-1. And it's Alejandro Garnacho who levels the score. You have to say it's against the run of play, but Alejandro Garnacho puts the ball under Nick Pope. It's in off the post. And this game is tied again. And it's Alejandro Garnacho. On 37 minutes. Well, if we take a look at this again, it started really off from a ball here by Agate. A lot of the credit has to go to Agate, fighting to win the ball back. He lays the ball then off for Diogo Dallo. Dallo then slips through Garnacho. He's onside. And it's actually a beautiful side foot shot past the goalkeeper. Cutting across to meet him in a hurry there was Fabian Schär. It was one-on-one for a moment, but then Fabian Schär cut across. But Garnacho still so much work to do. Played it through the legs of Fabian Schär and in off the post. And Alejandro Garnacho celebrates, given the performance in Lyon during the week. Came under a lot of criticism along with Andre Onana and Rasmus Højlund. He delivers the goods there though. Here's Sandro Tonali. And it's back with Fabian Schär. Fabian Schär plays the ball to Jacob Murphy. Murphy now has got Harry Hamas in front of him. Can he get to the byline, Jacob Murphy? It's a good challenge by Harry Hamas. And regarding the overall first half performance today, I think they can be very impressed, Manchester United, with Harry Hamas, as Alejandro Garnacho celebrates his 10th goal season. Harry Hamas and Manuel Agate both impressive for Manchester United this afternoon. The ball is curled out. Oh, it's parked away by Bender, not far enough. And the shot by Joel Linton is blocked. And it's back with Livramento. It's Joel Linton again. It's a good 30 yards out. Oh, I think he was caught between a cross and a pass there. It goes over to the far corner flag and picked up by Manuel Agate, who's being tracked by Fabian Schär. Manages to find Harry Hamas. Harry Hamas goes down under the challenge, and it's going to be a corner to Newcastle United, and he's still down. Looks like the young man is winded. Took it in the side there. That looks very, very painful. And let's take a look at this again. Oh, right into the side of Fabian Schär. Yeah, that'll do it. And it's a free kick anyway, as we have 5 minutes to go until half time. As Harry Hamas gets up and defends this corner, which Kieran Trippier will take down the right-hand side. He's going to outswing this ball. Dan Burn up there. Comes across to Isak, who tries to volley. It's blocked by Mazraoui. It's swung back in again by Isak. The ball's bouncing around there, and Lenny Yoro clears it away. Only as far as Livramento, who heads the ball forward again. Trying to win that header again is Dan Burn. He does, but it goes out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in. And it's Newcastle United 1, Manchester United 1. And, well, I suspect Ruben Amorim will be quite satisfied with the score going in at half-time. I'm not so sure he'll be satisfied with the performance. Played forward by Christian Eriksen. That's blocked by Livramento. It goes out of play, and it's going to be another throw-in for Manchester United down their left-hand side, the Newcastle right, and it's going to be taken by Harry Hamas. He's just looking for options left and right, and he drops it down there to Bruno Fernandes. The ball's played forward by Hamas, but only as far as Fabian Schär. Fabian Schär finds Dan Burn. Burn plays the ball forward. Oh, good challenge there by Nusa Mazraoui. But the ball is won back by Livramento and forward to Harvey Barnes. Tracking him is Victor Lindelof. Good play by Lindelof. He puts the ball out of play. It's a throw-in right by the corner flag. Down that left-hand side for Newcastle United. Harvey Barnes throws the ball off here to Tino Livramento. And he throws it short to Joe Linton. Joe Linton is challenged there by Diogo Dalla, and it's going to be another corner for Newcastle. Newcastle United 1, Manchester United 1. Well, we've got a very delicately poised, balanced game now. And the corner is going to be taken on this near side by Kieran Trippier. He's going to swing the ball in, and there's already players going down, and the referee has stopped play as Fabian Schär was muscled to the ground by Harry Hamas. He's going to get a word of warning now from the referee. Both of them are, in fact, told to just behave themselves. Victor Lindelof is getting involved. I don't know why. It's nothing to do with him. The corner is going to be taken now again, and this time we're going to see whether we're going to get the corner taken as Fabian Schär and Hamas continue to shove each other and cling a hold of each other. And the shove by Lenny Yoro, and now this is just getting out of hand. This is just getting silly, and Lenny Yoro is going to go into the book, and that is a really, really silly yellow card. That is very, very silly by Lenny Yoro, because now he's got to go through the entire second half on a yellow card, and, well, that is a silly card to take. Corner is eventually going to be taken as Schär and Hamas continue to cling a hold of each other. We're waiting for the corner to be taken. Just get on with it. Finally, it's taken to the back post and headed back across, and it's over the crossbar by Bruno Guimaraes, and it's behind for a goal kick. Guimaraes, I think he was trying to divert the header towards the back post, but it's well over in the end. Might be interested to see how much stoppage time is added onto the end of the first half. Altay Bayindir just going to take his time now for launching this one downfield, right-footed. Up in the air is Joshua Zirkzee winning that ball, and headed down by Bruno Guimaraes, looking for Jacob Murphy there. The ball goes out of play, off a Manchester United player, in fact, Bruno Fernandes, I think. And it's going to be a throw-in for Newcastle now, just inside their own half, down their right. Throw-in to be taken by Kieran Trippier to Joel Linton, and back there to Fabian Schär, who launches the ball long, dealing with this one under pressure is Victor Lindelof. Under pressure from Alexander Isak, he did well there, did Lindelof. Gives the ball to Harry Amas, who then passes the ball to Ugarte, and the ball is played forward now, and it's Joshua Zirkzee. It's 3-on-2 with Manchester United. Hurry, here's Garnacho again with a shot, and a super save by Nick Pope, and it breaks out to Diogo Dalla on the right hand side of Manchester United. And here's Mazraoui, drop back there to Fernandes. Well, Manchester United coming close again there. Here's Manuel Ugarte. Ugarte decides to hold off and now tries to go for the byline. It's a good block by Harvey Barnes. And it goes out of play, and it's going to be another throw-in for Manchester United, level with the Newcastle 6-yard box. As we take a look at this shot again by Ugarte, in the end it's actually probably a save really you'd expect Nick Pope to make. As we go into stoppage time at the end of this first half, there's going to be 2 minutes of it. And it's Diogo Dalla that's going to take this throw in here, level with the Newcastle 6-yard box. It's thrown in, flicked on there, or at least tried to be flicked on by Victor Lindelof, and it's headed out of play by Tino Livramento, and it's going to be another throw in basically from the same place. And Diogo Dallo is going to try and launch another one into the box. Diogo Dallo. Long one into the penalty area. It's won by Dan Burn and cleared away there by Jacob Murphy. Only as far as Christian Eriksen. He plays the ball back into his own half of the field. It's picked up by Nusa Mesraoui. Given back to the goalkeeper. He launches the ball downfield. Flicked on by Dan Burn. That's going to go out of play for another Manchester United throw-in. Level with the Newcastle penalty area down the right. We've played 1 minute of stoppage time at St James's Park. It is 1-1. And Diogo Dalla is maybe going to try another long throw-in here. It's going for a long one. Is he going to launch it towards the 6-yard box? A lot of pushing and shoving there. It's gone towards the 6-yard box. Pope comes out and claims it. Good play by the England goalkeeper. Just comes forward and takes that into his chest. And that could be that for the first half, really. The throw-in by Pope releases Kieran Trippier. Trippier plays the ball forward, looking for Jacob Murphy. It's comfortably won back by Amas. Amas just drops the ball back to Bayinda. And I think we are just going to tick down the remaining seconds of this first half as Bayinda clears it downfield. And there goes the half-time whistle. And at half-time at St James's Park, it's Newcastle United 1, Manchester United 1. A goal on 24 minutes by Sandro Tonali, brilliantly created by Isak. And the equaliser by Alejandro Garnacho, sliding the ball in off the post between the legs of Fabian Schär and in off the post. So 1-1 at half time, and back to you, Ross.
Thank you very much there, Paul. And Paul, just before we do let you go for the half-time break, just want to get your overall assessments on that first half. Do you think it's a direction winning at half-time at 1-1, or do you think Newcastle should be leading, or do you think Man United have deserved to be back on level terms?
Well, it's tight. I think probably a draw is the right score. I think for the possession that Manchester United have had, though, they haven't created a lot. And the goal, in my opinion, at the time, sort of came against the run of play because Newcastle had scored and they were on a bit of a high. They were looking like they were creating chances. But the goal was a quality finish, and Manchester United were looking like they were pressing more towards the end of the half. So I'm going to say 1-1 is probably a fair scoreline at half-time.
Thank you very much there, Paul. Paul will be back with us in plenty of time for the start of the second half. Let me read out the half-time scores from the half-time scores. The other scores from today's Premier League action, starting off with the game at Stamford Bridge, which he finished Chelsea 2, Ipswich Town 2. At Anfield, he finished Liverpool 2, West Ham United 1. At Molineux, he finished Wolverhampton Wanderers 4, Tottenham Hotspur 2 is the full-time score then. As you know, half-time here in our feature match at St James's Park. Newcastle United 1, Manchester United 1. In the Scottish Premiership games taking place today, finished Aberdeen 2, Rangers 2. The way for Celtic to lift the Scottish Premiership title goes on after that 2-2 draw this afternoon. Hibernian 4, Dundee United 0 is also a full-time score. Full-time score in the EFL Trophy final, we finished Birmingham City 0, Peterborough United 2. Peterborough won the competition last season and they win it again this year. Congratulations to Peterborough, who have won that competition this season. Back-to-back winners of the EFL Trophy are Peterborough United. In La Liga, it's Osasuna 2, Girona 1. These are full-time scores. Deportivo Alaves 0, Real Madrid 1. And 5 kickoff is Real Betis against Villarreal. 8 o'clock kickoff is Athletic Club against Rayo Vallecano. Serie A, full-time scores: Atalanta 2, Bologna 0, Fiorentina 0, Parma 0, Hellas Verona 0, Genoa 0. 80-minute score is Como 0, Torino 0 is the latest in that game there. In the German Bundesliga, it finished Stuttgart 1, Werder Bremen 2, should I say. In half-time, it's Eintracht Frankfurt 2, Heidenheim 0. In Ligue 1 in France, Saint Etienne 3, Brest 3. Into the second half in these matches is Angers 2, Montpellier 0, Le Havre 1, Rennes 3 is the latest scores in Ligue 1 in France this afternoon. Then let's see if there's any other news too. Let's bring some MLS results, shall we? CF Montreal 0, Charlotte 1, DC United 0, FC Cincinnati 1, New York City 1, Philadelphia Union 0, Vancouver Whitecaps 5, Austin 1, FC Dallas 0, Seattle Sounders 1, Nashville 2, Real Salt Lake 1, Colorado Rapids 3, San Diego 2, LA Galaxy 1, Houston Dynamo 1, LAFC 2, San Jose Earthquakes 1. Tonight's games see Sporting Kansas City v Portland Timbers and Chicago Fire against Inter Miami, where Lionel Messi currently plays his club football at Inter Miami. Also in the MLS this weekend with the results thus far in the matches that have taken place this weekend, with the results that are in as well from earlier on, with some taking place on the evening, on Friday evening. Orlando City 0, New York Red Bulls 0, Atlanta United 0, New England Revolution 1, Toronto 0, Minnesota United 0 were the scores from Friday. Well, earlier was a Saturday morning in the UK, Friday evening for those out in America. Others took place early hours of this morning in the UK, with a couple of games later on this evening. First one, 7:15 UK time, Sporting Kansas City against Portland Timbers, and then 9:30 Chicago Fire take on Inter Miami. Then at midnight, see St. Louis City take on Columbus Crew in the MLS there. Bringing back to some of the comments then. Media Radio Jingles and Gamer says, well, with Liverpool winning today and Arsenal running against Brentford, we're almost approaching the end of the season. I don't think Liverpool will surely get the Premier League title, in my opinion. That's from Media Radio Jingles and Gaming. In I can just bring you a bit of a stat here regarding that Premier League title race, and I can tell you that in the Premier League title race, if Arsenal slip up and lose to Ipswich Town next weekend, Liverpool will only need one victory, just 3, and could win the title just 3 points against Leicester City next Sunday. So Arsenal's next weekend to Ipswich Town. Liverpool will get the title at home. against Leicester City next Sunday. Against Leicester City next Sunday, so that is the result there. Let me just bring you another result here as well. Some results from the Women's FA Cup semi-finals. Man City 0, Manchester United 2 from earlier today. Chelsea 2, Liverpool 1 as well, which means Manchester United will face the Chelsea in the playoff in the Women's FA Cup final, and that will be, should I say, Women's FA Cup final. That will be on Sunday the 18th of May in that one there. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a quick break. When we do return, we'll be back with plenty of time for the start of the second half on this Premier League encounter between Newcastle and Manchester United. But our time in our featured match is Newcastle United 1, Manchester United 1. Join us shortly for second half coverage. Welcome back to the Premier League coverage on the commentary about our alternative coverage. It's Newcastle United against Manchester United. We're currently locked at 1-1 at half-time, which is taking place at St James's Park. We're spending in the Aussie presenting the commentary this afternoon, and we're getting ready to watch the second half. Who will come out on top in the second half? Will it be Manchester United, or will Newcastle United get their noses back in front and stay in front? This time, will Manchester United get their noses in front for the first time this afternoon? Then let's go back to match commentator Paul James. And Paul, after you've seen that first half, what do you think Manchester United need to do a bit more to get their noses in front in the second half and turn this game around after being 1-0 downhill in this match early?
Well, I think they were sort of doing what they needed to do towards the end of the first half. They were not allowing themselves to be pressed back. they were able to go forward and create opportunities. I think they'll have to continue doing that. I think Garnacho is playing very, very well today. So bring him into the game a little bit. Bruno Fernandes has been fairly quiet, but I think if you bring Garnacho into the game a little bit, he's been involved in the opportunities that they've had today, and of course he's scored as well.
Yes, and you've got to say, I think for me, Paul, I don't know what you think. I think for me, we've been lucky with the efforts, the way if the post and then rolled in on another occasion, those types of shots can hit the post and come back out. So looking at the inside of the post for it to roll in rather than the outside for it to come back out. Sometimes can get those kind of shots wrong from the angle they hit it out there, Garnacho.
I don't see much luck in that goal, Ross. It was a brilliant finish. Garnacho got through. He played it between the legs of Fabian Schär. And he still had a lot to do at that point when Fabian Schär was coming across, because he was one-on-one initially. Fabian Schär was coming across. He still had a lot to do at that point. So to put the side foot shot through the legs of Fabian Schär and beating the Nick Pope, I think that's a quality finish, and I think he can be very proud of that. He's had a lot of stick this week after the game. After the game against Lyon, so I think he can be very pleased with that, and you could tell from his reaction as well that it was there, and it's his 10th goal of the season. So well done to him.
Yes, and Tonali took his goal well for Newcastle. Paul, what do Newcastle need to do a bit more of in the second half to get their noses back in front and then stay in front? In your opinion, there?
Stop giving the ball away in midfield. In the final third of the field, they need to stop giving the ball away, and at the moment they are giving the ball away quite a little bit. When they do connect, they connect beautifully. That goal was superb. What a beautiful piece of improvisation by Alexander Isak. The way he flicked it up, and he just flicked it over the top of the defence, straight onto the left foot of Tonali. That was absolutely fantastic finish. So I think, Newcastle need to connect a little bit more going forward. Maybe do things a little bit more simpler. Don't be afraid to shoot from in and around the penalty area. They've certainly come close when they've been shooting around the penalty area as well. So we'll see.
Yes, absolutely, Paul. Absolutely, Paul. We said at the top of the show that you think Newcastle could potentially win this. Do you still see that now, Paul, or do you see potentially a draw happening depending on from what you've seen on that first half performance in your mind?
Well, I can see this going either way, to be honest, because Manchester United are playing very, very well. Harry Mas working hard on the left-hand side. Manuel Ugarte in the middle is pulling the strings in the middle. Usually you expect to see Bruno Fernandes do that, but Manuel Ugarte is doing the little things right. He's getting in there, doing the dirty work, winning the ball back, and setting the forwards off on their way. So I think he's done very, very well. So it could go either way. It's a difficult one to call this, actually.
Yeah, he just look like a difficult one to call. I wouldn't be calling this one right now. But anyway, teams are back out ready for the second half. We're about to get back underway in the game at St James's Park. Back over to match commentator Paul James.
Thank you very much, Ross. And yes, Newcastle about to get the second half underway. There's been no changes by either side. Newcastle will be attacking the goal to our right. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through the teams for you in just a moment. But first of all, here's Christian Eriksen, launches the ball forward, and it goes out of play. So I'm going to run through the lineups for you basically as they started. Nick Pope, Tino Livramento, Dan Burn, Fabian Schär, Kieran Trippier, Joe Linton, Sandro Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, Harvey Barnes, Alexander Isak, and Jacob Murphy is your Newcastle lineup. For Manchester United, Altay Bayindir, Lenny Yoro, Victor Lindelof, Nusa Mazraoui, Harry Mas, Christian Eriksen, and just a moment here come Newcastle. It's Tino Livramento. Livramento holds the ball up there, and he's going to drop the ball back here to Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes goes back into the centre circle, so I'll start that again. Altay Bayindir, Lenny Yoro, Victor Lindelof, Nusa Mazraoui, Harry Mas, Christian Eriksen, Manuel Ugarte, Diogo Dalot, Alejandro Garnacho, Bruno Fernandes, and Joshua Zirkzee. What we are starting to see, though, is some action on that Manchester United bench. I don't know why they just didn't do this at half-time, but it looks like readying himself to come on is Harry Maguire. The ball is cleared by Bayinda downfield. It's won by Dan Burn in the centre circle, launches the ball forward. The header by Lenny Yoro. Picked up by the number 2 there, Kieran Trippier. He only manages to find his opposite number there, Victor Lindelof. He goes back to the goalkeeper, and it's cleared downfield by Altay Bayinda. And it's won back by Joel Linton. Joel Linton tries to find Alexander Isak, but Manchester United win the ball back, and they're coming forward now. And here comes Joshua Zirkzee. It's 3-on-4. Diogo Dalot now cutting across. He goes down under the challenge of Tonali. Manchester United a half-hearted appeal. They're not going to get anything from that. And the ball is cleared away by Tonali, but really only as far as Harry Amas. Amas now coming forward, sees the lights and hits the shot, but it's over the crossbar. Well, he saw the lights of glory there, but ballooned it over the crossbar as Sandro Tonali goes down. We take a look at this again. Diogo Dalot, there's no way that's a penalty. Dalot goes down very, very easily there. There was a little bit of a push. Okay, it's one of them, isn't it? You feel the contact, down you go. But there's no way, in my opinion, that that's a penalty. Sandro Tonali just being helped back to his feet. Ross agrees with me. There's not enough in that for a penalty. Media Radio Jingles and Gaming says, looking at both teams in the first half, I think Manchester United could get the win in this game now. Well, okay, let's see what happens. It's 1-1. As we take a look at Jason Tyndall, just looking at, on the iPad, you will. And Kieran Trippier launches the ball over the halfway line, flicked on by Joel Linton. Looking for Alexander Isak. It's cleared away by Lindelof, but only as far as Guimaraes. Guimaraes plays the ball down the left-hand side to Tino Livramento. Livramento across to the back post, and here's a chance. It's 2-1. Oh, it's put in by Harvey Barnes, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Newcastle score. Oh, that was brilliant play by Livramento. Played it all the way to the back post to Jacob Murphy, who pulls it back, and well, waiting there, Johnny on the spot, was Harvey Barnes to make it 2-1. And early in this second half, 4 minutes gone in the second half, and Tino Livramento's work there is what has got to be credited for that goal. Playing the ball down the left-hand side to Livramento. Livramento drills that ball across, and Jacob Murphy reaches it on the back post and pulls it back. It's good work by Jacob Murphy just to get to the byline and win that ball back. It was a great pullback to Harvey Barnes, and I don't know where the Manchester United defence was here. You really have to question the Manchester United defence. Well, that is poor in my mind. Harvey Barnes waiting there, Johnny on the spot inside the 6-yard box, and nobody within 2 or 3 yards of him. And Manchester United now go 2-1 down, and they've got to do all over. Yoro, Ericsson. But once again, a really fluid move. When Newcastle put it together, they looked so good going forward when they put it together. And that was another brilliant bit of football between Tino Livramento, Jacob Murphy and Harvey Barnes. It does move Newcastle into 4th place, by the way, if they win today. 1 point ahead of Manchester City. It's a throw-in for Newcastle United. It's Kieran Trippier. And Jason Tyndall there calling the shots today. Comments in the comment section. Good finish from Harvey Barnes to give Newcastle a second goal, and Newcastle starting to improve their play in this game. Well, here's Alexander Isak. He drops the ball back into the centre circle there to Dan Burn. Dan Burn across to Livramento. It's won back by Manchester United though, and here's Alejandro Garnacho. Garnacho trying to get away from Livramento. Good work by the Argentinian, but his cross only finds Sandro Tonali, who clears the ball away. And Agate flicked on by Xerxes, but nobody read that flick on by Xerxes, and it goes straight through to the goalkeeper, Nick Pope, as Newcastle will start again. And, well, Harry Maguire is now sat back down. It doesn't look like he's coming on just now. Hardly surprising. Bruno Guimaraes launches the ball long over on the far side to Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes scoring the second goal, looking to haunt Manchester United again, but that's a good challenge by Nusa Mazraoui. And it's picked up, though, by Joel Linton across to Sandro Tonali. Tonali across to Guimaraes. Guimaraes to Murphy. Murphy trying to fight his way through, but it's won back here now by Manchester United. And it's Bruno Fernandes gives the ball to Xerxes. Xerxes coming forward. He's got Fernandes alongside him. This is a great run by Joshua Xerxes. Right to the edge of the Newcastle penalty area, but he's pulled up. And it looks like he's pulled a hamstring. And that is bad news for Joshua Xerxes. Oh, that is really bad news. It looks like he's pulled a hamstring. And, oh dear, that's unfortunate for him. And immediately Rasmus Højlund is stripping off, because he will have to be the man that replaces him. And, well, that is very, very unfortunate. After a superb run by Joshua Xerxes, it's a pity it's come down to that. Well, we hope he recovers very soon, but that looked to me like a definite hamstring pull there, and that could mean he's out for a few weeks. Xerxes is going to be helped off here. Patrick Dorgu is also coming on. Manchester United looking at making a triple substitution here. We'll just take a look. Dorgu is, I know, is coming on. I've just seen him strip off. And there's another one in the background. Not sure who it is, but it looks like he's coming on as well. And I thought for a moment it was Casemiro, but we'll take a look at that in a moment. But Xerxes being helped off now. Oh dear, that's unfortunate. You never want to see that. That was a fantastic run. Well, he's being helped off now by his captain, Bruno Fernandes, and physio. And the look of disappointment on his face may well show. He's coming off, and coming on for Manchester United in his place is Rasmus Højlund. An opportunity for him perhaps to try to do something, as he's come under intense pressure. The other one coming on is Mason Mount, in fact. So we've got a triple substitution for Manchester United. They're taking off Alejandro Garnacho. That I am surprised at. He was Manchester United's chief threat, in my opinion, in that first half. So Garnacho is coming off. I'm just trying to see who the other person is coming off. We're going to find out soon enough. So Dorgu is on for Garnacho. Oh, it's Harry Amas is the other one coming off, who's, again, quite surprising. He's done a really good job today as Harry Amas. But he's the other one coming off. So I'm just going to run through the substitutes for you now. So coming off is Joshua Xerxes, Alejandro Garnacho and Harry Amas. And Rasmus Højlund, Mason Mount and Patrick Dorgu are the ones coming on in this triple substitution for Manchester United. Yes, Nick rightly points out that Xerxes' injury could have complications for Manchester United's second leg against Lyon. So here comes Manchester United now, and it's cleared away by Shah into the middle of the park to Mason Mount. And here is Lenny Yoro, and it's Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes launches it long over onto the far side to Diogo Dalla. It's now picked up there by Nusa Mazraoui to Manuel Ugarte. Ugarte dropped back into his own half to Lindelof, to Yoro. Yoro's got Dorgu alongside him. Dropped back there by Bruno Fernandes. And back into his own half again by Lenny Yoro. Yoro across there. Picked up by Ugarte. Ugarte just holds up the ball inside his own half. Drop back to Mazraoui again. And the ball is played forward from Dallo to Rasmus Højlund and across to Patrick Dorgu. It's just a bit away from him, it's Dorgu, and Jacob Murphy comes back to retrieve the situation, gives it back to Nick Pope, who releases it to Kieran Trippier, and Dorgu fouls Trippier, and he could find himself in the referee's notebook here. There was no attempt to win that ball. I wonder if Chris Kavanagh will give Dorgu some grace here. Well, no yellow card shown, so a free kick for Newcastle United. Kieran Trippier to take it. And he moves away, in fact, and leaves it to Fabian Schär. It's midway inside Newcastle's half of the field. Looks like they're going to go long here. Fabian Schär looking up there for Joel Linton, who gets the header up. Harvey Barnes. It's chested down and brought down well by Ugarte. Gives the ball back to Lindelof. Lindelof to Bayinda. Bayinda's pass is a poor one, and it's won back there by Guimaraes. Jacob Murphy lifts the ball into the penalty area looking for Tonali, and it's headed out there by Ugarte, but kept in play by Dorgu, who puts it out for a throw-in. And it's going to be a throw-in for Newcastle United. And now here's Jacob Murphy to Guimaraes. Guimaraes plays the ball to Murphy again. Murphy just trying to get away from Dorgu. Good cross attempt by Murphy, but Dorgu is there, just shutting down Jacob Murphy. Perhaps Dorgu on here for his defensive capabilities against the speedy Jacob Murphy. And he was equal to him there. It's going to be another corner to Newcastle down their right-hand side, and Kieran Trippier is going to take it. Dan Burn going into the penalty area again. And also in there is Bruno Guimaraes, Harvey Barnes and Alexander Isak, all looking for the cross. Kieran Trippier decides to go short to Isak. Oh, down goes Kieran Trippier under the challenge there of Bruno Fernandes. The referee says play on. Fernandes plays the ball long, just looking there for Dorgu, but it's comfortably picked up and won back by Livramento, and a quick one pass by Isak tries to set off Livramento, but that didn't work out. Instead it rolls out of play, but that was a crunching challenge by Fernandes on Trippier. He won the ball though, in fairness. Oh, the referee's decision was correct. Trippier is on his feet, just limping a little bit though. Hopefully just an impact knock for him. And Dorgu takes a throw in. It's headed down there by Fernandes, back to Dorgu. Across to Lindelof. Lindelof plays the ball forward to Rasmus Højlund, and he just laid it off for Mason Mount, who is challenged there by Fabian Schär. It's a free kick given to Manchester United. We're on the hour mark. It's Newcastle United 2, Manchester United 1. Goals from Sandro Tonali and Harvey Barnes for Newcastle. For Manchester United, Alejandro Garnacho. Here's Fernandes, Eriksson, Yoro. Fernandes looking for Dorgu, but was he fouled there? Indeed he was. Dorgu fouled, I think that was Livramento over on the far side. Or was it Livramento? No, it was Kieran Trippier. It looks like he fouled Kieran Trippier there, and the referee did agree with that. He was given the free kick. As Casemiro is now preparing himself to come on, and Ruben Amorim looking to throw the big guns on. See if he can get Manchester United back into this game. Kieran Trippier now with the free kick. It's a high line again by Manchester United, well outside their 18-yard box. It's taken quickly. Dan Burn tries to head the ball down to Isak. Isak picks the ball up, chips the ball up in the air looking for Burn. It's flicked on across to Harvey Barnes, who tries to get the cross in, but it's cleared away by Victor Lindelof, only as far as Tino Livramento to Kieran Trippier. Here's Bruno Guimaraes, and here's Isak out wide to Murphy. Murphy gets the cross in. There's the header by Burn, and it's over the top. And well, that's another opportunity for Dan Burn, just finding himself unmarked in the penalty area one you might expect Dan Byrne to do a little better with, just not able to get his head over it really. And it goes over the crossbar. And the clearance is not great, and Newcastle now have the ball back, and it's Isak, plays the ball through to Tonali. Tonali gets the cross in, going up there is Bayinda with a fist, he gets it out to the edge of the area. Livramento, Barnes swings the ball in, and this time the goalkeeper comes out and makes the claim. And well, that is an opportunity. We've got Thomas Tuchel with us today, the England manager. He's watching on, perhaps watching some of those Newcastle players. And it's cleared away downfield here by Lenny Yoro. Is headed down there by Mason Mount and flicked on by Bruno Fernandes to Mount again. Mason Mount got some space in front of him. Dorgu overlapping, and a good challenge there by Fabian Schär to intercept that pass by Mason Mount. And it goes behind for a corner, to a throw in to Manchester United. Actually goes out of play, not behind. It's taken quickly to Christian Eriksen, across there to Manuel Ugarte, back to Eriksen, back to Ugarte, and picked up here by Lenny Yoro. Yoro gives the ball to Dorgu. Dorgu, quick flick pass by Fernandes to Eriksen and back to Fernandes. Here's Ugarte. Coming up on the far side is Mazraoui. And Diogo Dalot is over there as well. Dalot picks up the ball and drops it back to Mazraoui. Here's Manuel Ugarte now. Tries to play the ball forward. It's blocked there by the number 7 there, Joel Linton for Newcastle. Oh, slipping there is Mazraoui. It's 3-on-3 for Newcastle. And breaking into the middle. It's a real chance and a goal! And it's tucked into the net for a second for Harvey Barnes. And it starts with the slip from Nusa Mazraoui. And, well, that's unfortunate for him, but my goodness me, that is a really quality finish. Harvey Barnes gets his second. He's been very impressive today. And he just gets the ball through the middle and tucks that one into the top corner. And it's Newcastle 3, Manchester United 1. And this game is taking a dark outlook for Manchester United. It started with the dreadful slip from Nusa Mazraoui, and that gave the ball away to Harry Maguire. There was nobody closing him down quick enough, right through the middle of 3 defenders, which I have to say again puts a question mark on that Manchester United defence. There's 3 of them there, nobody gets close enough to him, and he tucks it past the goalkeeper into the top left-hand corner. And, well, Manchester United now looking like a defeated team, it has to be said. Harvey Barnes raises his fist in celebration to those Newcastle fans, as Manchester United have got 25 minutes to get back into this game. Taken quickly, and Manchester United take the kick off right away. It's right back to Bayinda. Bayinda goes long. Oh, it's a good header there by Fabian Schär, trying to flick that ball on, but it's won back by Dorgu. And Joel Linton is alleged to have fouled Manuel Ugarte. And it's a free kick for Manchester United, as the frustration that must be growing amongst the Old Trafford faithful right now. The defending by Newcastle has just been unforgivable. The defending rather by Manchester United has just been unforgivable. Media Radio Jingles and Gaming says another fantastic goal from Harvey Barnes once again. Surely Newcastle have won it now. But Manchester United could come back. It's a possibility, but at the moment I don't see it from Manchester United. They've not been very effective in the second half. I'm not sure the substitution taking Alejandro Garnacho off was a good idea. He looked their most potent threat in this game, in my opinion. It's only my opinion, and what do I know, but just from what I could see. Here is Lenny Yoro. Lenny Yoro. Across to Victor Lindelof, back to Fernandes. Fernandes sets Dorgu off on his way. Dorgu now gets to the byline, but he's in an offside position, and it's going to be a free kick. Alan Shearer, the legendary Newcastle goal scorer, record goal scorer with 206 goals, in fact, for the Toon, as he is watching on there. As he has got to be relatively pleased with this performance from Newcastle. It's really been an outstanding performance. Certainly in the second half, they've looked a lot better than Manchester United. As we've played 66 minutes, and Newcastle leading by 3-1. And taking the goal kick is Nick Pope. Launches it downfield. Header won there by Lenny Yoro, but only as far as Fabian Schär. The ball's played forward now for Jacob Murphy, and it goes out of play. Going to be a goal kick with 67 minutes gone, as Manchester United will look at what options are available for them on the bench. So far, no changes from Newcastle. Well, they may not. They've performed very, very well, this Newcastle team, especially in the start of this second half. Media Radio Jingles and Gaming says, no, I don't think it was the right decision to take Garnacho off, and Newcastle have been a much better side in the second half and this game so far. As here's Tonali. Drops it back to Byrne. Tonali again. Trippier. Just inside his own half of the field now, Kieran Trippier. Drops it back to Fabian Schär. And across there to Dan Byrne. Byrne just plays it to Tonali. Lifted forward by Livramento. That's a good work by Victor Lindelof, just winning the ball back, but it's cleared back to Nusa Mazraoui and back to the goalkeeper. Bayinda clears it out. It's flicked on by Bruno Fernandes. Turning now is Rasmus Højlund. He goes down under the challenge, and it's going to be a free kick for Manchester United. And now then, here's Mason Mount out onto the far side to Diogo Dalla. Diogo Dalla trying to cut inside, but Tino Livramento makes a good challenge there. And just moving away from the other Manchester United defender, Nusa Mazraoui. Livramento gives the ball to Guimaraes. Guimaraes, the Newcastle captain, across there to the number 2, Kieran Trippier. Here's Isak. Isak stays on his feet. Well played by Alexander Isak. Now he's got Murphy alongside him down the right-hand side. Can Murphy get the cross in now? He drops it back to Trippier. Trippier looking for options available. It's with Guimaraes. Tonali thinking about a shot, I'm sure. He gives it back to Murphy, and Murphy is in an offside position. And that move comes to an end. And the free kick is going to be taken. It's taken quickly by Dogu, and it was almost given away by Fernandes to Guimaraes, but finally it was back to the goalkeeper Bayinda, and he clears it. Here's Mason Mount now for Manchester United. Well, I think if I'm looking at this game so far, and normally at this point I'd ask a co-commentator how they felt the game has gone. For me, I feel the game has gone from Manchester United. They've given the ball away too many times on the edge of their own penalty area. The defending has been extremely poor. And going forward in the second half, they've lacked the creativity that Alejandro Garnacho brought them in the first half. And with 20 minutes to go now, Rasmus Højlund trying to win that ball. It's a good piece of defending by Fabian Schär. He manages to find Livramento. Flicked on to Harvey Barnes. And Barnes now away for Newcastle United again. He gets into the penalty area, tries to pull that ball across. But a really good challenge that time by Nusa Mazraoui. Just gets back there to challenge Harvey Barnes. Forces a corner. But that really was a brilliant move by Harvey Barnes. Just flicking the ball past Mazraoui. But Mazraoui showing great commitment to get back and put that ball behind for a goal, behind for a corner. And the corner is going to be taken on the left-hand side for Newcastle United. It's going to be Trippier that's going to take it. 3-1 to Newcastle. The Magpies soaring high right now. And it's Trippier is going to take the corner from that left-hand side. Swings it in. Head on by Dan Burn, flicked on, the ball's bouncing around there and United need to get it away, but well, that was a slow, really slow clearance away there by Diogo Dalla. That was a shocking piece of defending. He had ample time to clear that ball away, and Newcastle still have possession now with Dan Burn. Lifted forward, looking for Jacob Murphy, looked like he might be offside. Play goes on, Dorgu wins possession back off Murphy and gives it to Lenny Yoro. Yoro now gives the ball away to Sandro Tonali. And over on the far side, surprisingly, is Fabian Schär. He gets in the penalty area. Can he get the cross in? Fabian Schär goes down. The referee says play on. And it's Bruno Fernandes now just looking to turn inside the penalty area. Good challenge by Tonali as a two number 8s battle head to head there. But in the end, it goes behind for a goal kick. And I will be considering my player of the match in this game. I've got a few names in mind. And the Newcastle fans very, very pleased right now. Of course, it means they're going to third if they can. They're going to fourth if they hang on to this position at 3-1. With Nottingham Forest slipping up again yesterday. That's the pressure is on the Reds as well now from the likes of Newcastle and Manchester City. Here's Lenny Yoro. Drop back to Lindelof. Quick pass to Fernandes. And Yoro again then nearly gives the ball away. He's lucky he gets a second bite at the cherry. Eriksson. Fernandes. Quick one-touch passing by United. Agate to Lindelof, who goes back to the goalkeeper. Lindelof being closed down by Tonali, who clears it downfield. There is a free kick for a foul on Trippier by Dorgu. And he looks in a lot of pain, does Kieran Trippier there. Let's take a look. Oh, he got his foot trampled on by Dorgu. That wouldn't have felt good. And he'll get back to his feet in a moment, but, free kick to Newcastle United. Just to let you know what's coming up next on the Commentary Hub with 2 games in the middle of the week, both semi-finals of the Champions League. On Tuesday, join JB, who's in the hot seat for that game. I'll be co-commentating for him, and on Wednesday I will be commentating on the other semi-final second leg, which is Real Madrid versus Arsenal. Tuesday, JB will bring you Aston Villa versus Paris Saint-Germain. Free kick taken quickly, ball launched forward, headed on. And Rasmus Højlund picks up the ball and it's cleared away as far as Bruno Fernandes. And just coming back to win that there is Guimaraes. Rasmus Højlund, though, wins the ball back and gives it back to Dorgu. Dorgu for Manchester United. Oh, it's not really the best ball by Patrick Dorgu. Chasing it back is Diogo Dalla. Leaves it now for Nusa Mesraoui. Here's Manuel Ugarte. And across there to Lenny Yoro. Yoro holds the ball up and across there to Fernandes. Fernandes lifts the ball up to the chasing Rasmus Højlund. Can he get the cross in? Højlund into the middle and trying to bring that ball under control is Mason Mount, who gets it back to Manuel Ugarte with a shot, but it's a weak one. It goes straight through to Nick Pope. Just didn't get his full foot behind that Ugarte. It's a comfortable save by the England goalkeeper. And here's Kieran Trippier to Jacob Murphy. Jacob Murphy just skips away from Dorgu. And across there to Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes now has got Livramento overlapping. 2 goals for Harvey Barnes. Scourge of Manchester United this afternoon. And here is Fabian Schär. Fabian Schär, he tries to play the ball forward. It was a comfortable pass. It was a pass that was easily intercepted, but given away by Dorgu. As Manchester United once again give the ball away around their own penalty area. Here's Guimaraes. Gives the ball back to Tonali. Tonali to Dan Burn. Joel Linton back to Tonali. Guimaraes. Tonali. Trippier. Trippier sets Murphy off on his way. Murphy with a cross to Isak, and he just failed to control it properly. And there's Trippier again. Launches the ball in. Bayinda will claim that one comfortably. And that brings an end to that move. as we have 14 minutes left to go here, and it is Newcastle United 3, Manchester United 1, and Manchester United looking short of ideas here. It's back with Bayinda. Oh, Bayinda gives the ball away, and it's a real chance now, and it's 4. It's Bruno Guimaraes. Oh, Bayinda gave the ball away, and Bruno Guimaraes makes it 4-1. And well, you know, I don't know what to say to that. I really don't. That is just really, really poor play by Manchester United. That is the epitome of their day. That is the epitome of the Manchester United defending today. Bayinda this time took the ball away to... I forget who it was who's headed it on there. I'm just going to check to see who it was who headed that on. But on 76 minutes, it's 4-1. Bruno Guimaraes. And this has been a lesson in football. And it starts with Bayinda giving the ball away. It was actually hit the head of Joel Linton, actually. It was a really poor clearance by Bayinda. It's not the first time either. It was headed down there from Joel Linton straight to the feet of Bruno Guimaraes. And, well, you have to wonder whether Onana's going to be back in goal the next game. It's a comedy of errors from Manchester United goalkeepers in recent games. And, well, Bruno Guimaraes just tucks the ball into the net. And now the triple substitution is coming for Newcastle United, as that was always going to come. Let's see who's coming on here. I think that's one of them is Callum Wilson, I think. Anthony Gordon is another. There was 3 of them, I'm sure. Murphy is off. Yeah. So Gordon, Gordon, Murphy, and Isak. Gordon. Gordon, Wilson, and Kraft are on for Newcastle. And I'll just get you the substitutions. So substitutions for Manchester United. I'm racing to catch up. Nusa Mesraoui has gone off for Luke Shaw. So I'm going to update all this for you in a moment once I've gotten the information that I'm looking for. Because that all happened very, very quickly. Isak, Trippier and Murphy are off. And Kraft, Wilson and Gordon are on for Newcastle. And Manchester United, their substitute is Mesraoui off for Luke Shaw. So those are your substitutes for up to date. So Manchester United, well, now Newcastle coming forward again, and chasing that one is Emil Kraft, but the ball goes out of play. And Manchester United, well, they have really received a footballing lesson today. And I have to look at this purely from a perspective of a neutral, but I almost feel sorry for them. It's been such a dreadful performance by Manchester United in the second half. Here's Guimaraes. Guimaraes again. Edge of the penalty area. Here's Harvey Barnes. Onside. Pulls it back there to Tonali. Tonali back to Barnes. And back to Tonali. Manchester United just trying to protect themselves from any further embarrassment. As the ball is back with Joel Linton. Now with Tonali. Tonali coming forward for Newcastle. And it's back with Fabian Schär. Fabian Schär tries to play the ball out to the far side, but it goes over everybody's head. And out of play as another Manchester United substitution is now being readied. It looks like it's Aidan Heaven that is coming on for Manchester United. And coming off is Bruno Fernandes. It's been a frustrating day. He hands the captain's armband off to Lindelof. Or is it Mainu that's coming on? Let's have a look. It might actually be Kobe Mainu, actually. That would make more sense, to be honest. Yes, it is Kobe Mainu that is coming on with the 5th and final substitution for Manchester United. Well, all the dice, the rolls of the dice has been thrown. Here is Gordon. Gordon trying to play the ball forward. It's won back, though, by Agate. Agate tries to play the ball forward, looking for Ericsson, but won back by Sandro Tonali. But that ball goes out of play. And it's going to be a throw-in for Manchester United, taken quickly. Here is Ericsson. Ericsson gives the ball back there to Agate, to Dorgood. Patrick Dorgu, I should say. And here's Luke Shaw. Shaw across to Tonali. Tonali to Yoro. Yoro again. Well, Newcastle United, as Bayinda there looked again, he looked very uncertain. He manages to get the ball to Shaw. It's cleared forward, but the ball is almost given away again. He had to fight there to win the ball back, did Ericsson. And here's Agate, gives the ball on to Mainu. It's flicked on now, and Patrick Dorgu is coming forward for Manchester United. Dorgu swings across into the back post. It's headed up into the air by Livramento, and again out there by Harvey Barnes, but only as far as Dorgu. Dorgu to Mount. Mount with a shot. It's a comfortable save for the goalkeeper, Nick Pope. And Newcastle now coming forward. It's picked up here by Emil Kraft. Kraft just drops it back to Fabian Schär. Media rated jingles and gaming says, well, I do think Onana will be returning for the next game. Bayinda has been poor in this. It's certainly not been a great game at all by Bayinda. He's given the ball away a number of different times. He was finally punished this time by Bruno Guimaraes, and now Guimaraes is coming forward now. Is he tripped there? I think the referee has... Yes, he's given a free kick to Newcastle United, and Emil Kraft will take it. And I'm going to name my man of the match in about 5 minutes' time here. 4-1 to Newcastle is the score. And taken quickly there by Fabian Schär to Emil Kraft. And it's Joel Linton now for Newcastle United, under pressure by Manuel Agate. And Agate has been one of the few bright shining lights for Manchester United tonight. There hasn't been many. Substitutes coming up now for Newcastle. Lewis Miley is coming on, and also Sean Longstaff. So Longstaff and Miley are on to make up the 4th and 5th substitution. Coming off is Bruno Guimaraes and Joel Linton. Joel Linton's having an argument with somebody, but he's down at the moment. He's getting back onto his feet now. Joel Linton and Bruno Guimaraes coming off. He's still arguing. I think he's arguing with Manuel Agate. Fabian Schär is trying to take Agate away from this. And Agate, well, I think he's really done quite well for Newcastle. And that makes up all the substitutes for today's game from both sides. Here's Diogo Dalla. Mason Mount. Dorgu, flicked on by Mainu. Won back by Livramento. Livramento lifts the ball forward, looking for Anthony Gordon. Chasing that ball down. That's a good work by Lenny Yoro, just putting that ball out of play. And it's going to be a throw-in. Taken quickly. Oh, winning that ball back well was Mason Mount. He manages to find Rasmus Højlund, but Højlund is dispossessed again, as it's been another frustrating day for Rasmus Højlund since it's coming on. Could it be 5-1, Media Radio Jingles and Gaming says. I wouldn't be in the least bit surprised at where this Manchester United defence is coping today. Emil Kraft plays the ball forward. Going down under pressure there is Harvey Barnes. And it's going to be a free kick taken quickly, which Sandro Tonali will take. And here's Emil Kraft. Kraft just holds the ball up. And it goes back to the goalkeeper. And here's Sandro Tonali for Newcastle. Livramento back to the goalkeeper. And now here's Emil Kraft. Kraft for Newcastle over the halfway line, storming forward. Drops to Harvey Barnes. It's good play by Newcastle, looking for Sean Longstaff. And one there was Manuel Ugarte, runs the ball out of play. And Emil Kraft will take the throw in for Newcastle. As those Manchester United fans beginning to leave. Frustrating afternoon on Tyneside for the Red Devils of Manchester. Emil Kraft takes a throw in and it just drops off Sean Longstaff's legs and goes out of play for a throw in to Manchester United. Well, the throw in taken quickly by Dorgu. Dorgu just drops the ball back there to Luke Shaw. Here's Mainu. Dorgu trying to win the ball again. Mainu again just trying to make sure that Manchester United don't give the ball away again. Goes out of play for a throw into Manchester United. Patrick Dorgu is going to take it, and we are going to announce our man of the match now. So today's man of the match goes to Harvey Barnes. He scored 2. He was involved in the third. It's been a superb performance down that left-hand side for Harvey Barnes. Bayinda is in trouble! Oh, he finally gets the ball away. It's been a superb performance by Harvey Barnes today with those 2 goals as well. So today's man of the match, as sponsored by Commentary Services, goes to Newcastle's number 11, Harvey Barnes. Well, let's drop back here to Dan Burn, clears the ball downfield. Oh, quick flick on over the top there. Well, it was a good attempt by Harvey Barnes, but it looks like he was impeded by Patrick Dorgu. And it's a free kick to Newcastle United, just inside their own half of the field as we go into the last minute of the 90. Be interesting to see what is added on top of this. And it's Sandro Tonali. Plays the ball forward here to Emil Kraft. Tonali. And across there to Dan Burn, launches the ball forward, looking for Livramento. Meeting him there is Lenny Yoro. And Lenny Yoro plays the ball forward again. Picked up by Rasmus Højlund to Kobe Mainu. Højlund again as United attempting to break forward. Here's Kobe Mainu. Mainu, that's a good ball out wide to Diogo Dalot. Dalot drops the ball back to Mainu. Here's Ugarte. Ugarte. That's a good ball across to Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw swings across in, and getting there was Rasmus Højlund, and he puts the ball behind from the header. Rasmus Højlund currently under an immense amount of pressure from Manchester United fans. I just wonder if that came off a Newcastle player last. Let's have a look. No, it did come off Rasmus Højlund's head. Bouncing off the back of his head, actually. Media Radio Jingles and Gaming says Harvey Barnes has been terrific in this game and his 2 goals were superb. So we've got 5 minutes of stoppage time as we cut into the 90th minute. Harvey Barnes passing accuracy, 89%, 2 shots, 2 on target, 2 goals, 7 dribbles. Very impressive performance today. And with Thomas Tuchel looking on, he'll give the Germans something to think about. As that goes out of play, it's going to be a throw-in on the far side. As that's Lewis Miley there. And the throw-in will be taken quickly. Looking for Lewis Miley, it's flicked on. And again now forward to the number 7 there, Mason Mount, but Mason Mount is dispossessed. And Newcastle can now break forward. And storming over the halfway line is Emil Kraft. Kraft gives the ball to Barnes. Barnes cuts inside. It's a good play by Barnes, just getting away from Dorgu. Oh, a good challenge by Dorgu, denying Harvey Barnes that time. But Sandro Tonali picks up the ball, but Dorgu has been fouled. And it's going to be a free kick. And here's Christian Eriksen. Eriksen gives the ball to Mainu. Mainu drops the ball back there to Luke Shaw. Across to Lindelof. Oh, under pressure here is Lenny Yoro from Anthony Gordon. Lenny Yoro just checks back and he decides to go back to Bayinda, who clears the ball downfield, slips in the process, but gets some distance on it that time. And Mason Mount nips in to try to win the ball, but it goes out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in for Newcastle United as well. The Manchester United fans, what's left of them, are still cheering and clapping away. Quite surprised to see that. Here's Kobe Mainu. Flicked forward there to Mason Mount and cleared into the Manchester United half by Livramento. All the way through to Bayinda. Bayinda brings the ball under control. And here's Lenny Yoro, back to Bayinda again. Bayinda now just clears the ball forward to Eriksen, and Eriksen is dispossessed. Good ball there by Sean Longstaff to Tonali, but Tonali gives the ball away. And Manchester United now breaking over the halfway line. It's Rasmus Højlund. Ugarte overlapping. Is Højlund going to go on his own? Højlund tries to get the shot away, but it's a block there by Fabian Schär. And it's going to be a corner for Manchester United down this left-hand side. And we've got about 90 seconds of stoppage time left at the end of this game. Manchester United, now it's just not been their day at all today. Corner to be taken down the left-hand side. It's taken short by Eriksen to Shaw. Eriksen swings across in again, back to Luke Shaw as that was headed out by Callum Wilson. And Newcastle looking to break out in numbers as Shaw pressed all the way back into his own half, gives it to Bayinda. Bayinda launches the ball long downfield. His kicking has been not great today. Here's Dorgu. Dorgu drops the ball back to Ugarte. And here's Mainu. Mainu checks inside. Oh, that's a good challenge. And now Newcastle can break out. The ball from Lewis Miley to Tonali. Tonali is on the break now. He's got Lenny Yoro cutting alongside him. Is there a fifth in there for Newcastle? He takes it to the corner flag, does Tonali. Well played. Drops it back to Miley. Miley to Anthony Gordon. And here's Sean Longstaff. Newcastle just keeping possession. It's game management time now for the Magpies. There's seconds remaining left in this one. And it's now with Dan Burn. Gives it across to Fabian Schär. Back to Burn again. And again back to Burn. And this time to Fabian Schär. As we are waiting for the referee's final whistle now. We've played the 5 minutes. The referee has his whistle in his mouth and it's full time. And it's 4-1. It's been a crushing 3-goal second half for Newcastle. And Jason Tinder will be pleased to take the news back to Eddie Howe. A 4-1 victory, moving Newcastle United into 4th position of the Champions League. The goals in the second half from two from Harvey Barnes and one from Bruno Guimaraes, as Manchester United crumble at St James's Park. It's full time here and it's 4-1. Back to you, Ross.
Thank you very much there, Paul. Fantastic performance from Newcastle in the end, and Manchester United's season goes from bad to worse, and the past few days have gone from bad to worse. Onana was dropped after poor performances in recent weeks between the sticks. Bayinda came in, and it was nothing short of a poor performance. Marta Bayinda between the sticks for Manchester United again today. No matter who goes in the net, they always seem to put in bad performances of late. Do Manchester United goalkeepers with Newcastle United take nothing away from them. Fantastic performance for them, especially after the news regarding Eddie Howe over the past 24 hours or so. Everyone here in the country wishes Eddie Howe a speedy recovery, and this news will probably just put a bit of a smile on his face as this side triumph over Ruben Amorim's side by 4 goals to 1, led by his assistant Jason Tyndall, and also one of the first team coaches Graham Jones as well, and fantastic piece of play from Newcastle today. Harvey Barnes, correct call from Paul, player of the match, in my opinion today. Fantastic performance from him, and Newcastle's put in a statement performance there with the result this afternoon. Rather than let's move across then to give you the other scores in just a second as well. We'll start off with the Women's FA Cup semi-final. Today it finished Man City 0, Newcastle United 2 in the Women's FA Cup. In the other FA Cup game, Chelsea beat Liverpool by 2 goals to 1. Manchester United will now face Chelsea on the 18th of May in the Women's FA Cup final. In that one, in the Scottish Premiership, Aberdeen 2, Rangers 2 and Hibs 4, Dundee 0. In the EFL Trophy, Birmingham City 0, Peterborough United 2. Peterborough win the EFL Trophy for the second successive year with that 2-0 victory over Birmingham City. This afternoon in the English Women's Championship, Newcastle United, the men's side won 4-1, while the women's sides have done even better. Newcastle 6, Blackburn 0 in the Women's Championship this afternoon. There, let's bring you up to date with other matches taking place today in the Spanish La Liga. Osasuna 2, Girona 1, Alaves 0, Real Madrid 1, Real Betis 1, Villarreal 1 at half-time score. In the Bundesliga, Stuttgart 1, Werder Bremen 2, Frankfurt 3, Heidenheim 0. Italian Serie A is Atalanta 2, Bologna 0, Fiorentina versus Parma 0-0, full-time score there, as is Hellas Verona versus Genoa as well. Como against Torino, Como leading by a goal to 0 against Torino as it stands right now. Lazio versus Roma, it's an evening kick-off at 7:45 this evening as well. If you want to hear the results from the MLS, from the matches in that competition, just scroll back to half-time when our coverage is finished and hear all the results from the MLS next, with some of the couple of other games taking place this evening in that one day, including Sporting Kansas City against Portland Timbers and Chicago Fire against Inter Miami. There, we'll bring you up to date with the Premier League results just before we do finish our coverage this afternoon from the weekend's results, and we'll give you a rundown of the Premier League table as well before we finish. But before we do delve into the Premier League results, just talk about Manchester United's performance in this afternoon, Paul. Terrible display from the Red Devils this afternoon. Where did it all go wrong for Ruben Amorim's side?
Well, they lost the threat when they took Alejandro Garnacho off. He was creating for Manchester United. He was the one that was most threatening in my mind in that first half. I don't know why he took him off. I have no idea. But they took him off, and there was no goal-scoring threat from then going forward. And then, of course, the injury, of course, with Xerxes didn't help. And the defending has just been so atrocious. But, I mean, that's been the case in the first half as well. Manchester United's defending today has been shambolic, backed up with some pretty shambolic goalkeeping too. I don't know where Manchester United goes forward from here now in terms of the goalkeeping situation, but they desperately need a goalkeeper in there that can steady the ship, and right now they don't have it.
I know he's not played for quite a while, but he is a good enough goalkeeper to potentially be playing at this level. Maybe Tom Eaton could be the next. He could call Tom Eaton up to the next level and just see where he's got. Because to be honest, Paul, I've played for quite a number of years, Tom Eaton in competitive matches, but surely he can't be any worse than Bayinda or Onana.
Well, why not? Why not try Tom Heaton? I mean, he's an experienced goalkeeper. He played with Burnley in the Premier League. He's a good goalkeeper. He's used to making saves. Perhaps in front of a defence that's not always there. I actually think he might not be a bad choice for at least till the end of the season. But then you've got to be looking at bringing in a quality goalkeeper. I know. I like to listen to a lot of Manchester United fans on social media. They become my entertainment in the evening when they lose. Not that I wish for them to lose, I don't, but they become my entertainment during the evening. And I've heard a lot of them say that they're interested in perhaps Aaron Ramsdale. Is probably not a bad option. Because right now, you've got the two worst goalkeepers in the Premier League, in my opinion, right there at Old Trafford.
Yeah, the thing is with Aaron Ramsdale, I know he had a good spell at Arsenal when he was at Arsenal, but the other clubs he's been at, Southampton is currently at, Sheffield United has been at, Bournemouth has been at as well. I know Bournemouth are on the up now, but when Ramsdale were there, 3 of those 4 clubs I've just mentioned there, Paul, have all been relegated from the Premier League. So do you want someone who's got to come in to be first choice goalkeeper to say a so-called big club in what Manchester United used to be, Paul? I know some people may say there still are, some may not, depending on how they view the team. Would you want someone to come in who's got 3 relegations on the CV to come in and become your number 1 goalkeeper? Or would you rather get someone who's been at the top level of the game in, say, either, obviously they may not be able to get in England, but say somewhere like abroad, to come in and play at the top level, played in European competitions, and have that bit of experience behind them to help, say, likes of Bayinda, who's only still young, to get through what he's gone through today, because Onana's not going to be that role model for him.
No, but you can't. At the moment, yes, Manchester United are still a big club, in my opinion. But you have to remember, they're not playing. Unless they win the Europa League, they're not going to be playing in the Champions League. They're not going to be playing in any European competition. So what top quality goalkeeper is going to want to leave their club to come to play for Manchester United, who are likely to finish 14th or 15th in the Premier League?
I get what you're saying, but for me, you need someone of that kind of experience to help, say, Bayinda, rather than. I'm not saying Ramsdale doesn't have that sort of experience, Paul, of playing in Champions League. He has done for Arsenal and that, but with having 3 relegations on his CV, behind an already shaky defence, that's not going to help. You need someone with experience who's been up near the top of tables and trying to do it that way. There was been talks that have been linked with James Trafford, who's been in around the England setup, playing at Burnley, also linked in with Newcastle as well.
But you also have to remember, Ross, James Trafford was relegated with Burnley, and his first performance in the Premier League season was very, very bad. He made a lot of errors. So I don't think, if you're looking for somebody who is a role model, I don't think James Trafford has got there yet. He is going to be a world-class goalkeeper. I have no doubt in my mind about that. But I don't think he's the one. I think
there was another one I was going to mention as well, Paul, which is Kevin Keller at Liverpool, who's been their club goalkeeper this season. Experience being at the top end of the Premier League since he's been at Liverpool, and international number 1 first choice for Republic of Ireland as well. He's a decent goalkeeper, wants to come in as a number 1, which is not going to be, and he looks like he won't be getting many games in Liverpool next season with Alisson being there. So maybe someone like him could potentially come into Old Trafford and help out, because he's a bit more experienced than, say, Bayinda at this point in time. and not just in the Premier League, but across the board in cup competitions as well.
I don't know if he'd want to leave Liverpool and join Manchester United. I think that's kind of like the cardinal sin, isn't it? I mean, he might do. It's an option. There's a few options out there, but I think realistically, any goalkeeper worth his salt, especially if he's playing European football, is not going to want to give that up and join Manchester United. And that's the situation that Manchester United are in. Yes, they are a massive club. They're still, in my opinion, the biggest in the world, but they're not doing very well. They're not succeeding. They are playing very bad football. Defensively, they're a nightmare. The atmosphere, it seems cancerous around Old Trafford, and those ridiculous owners, the Glaziers. I wouldn't want to join that. That to me is a really good way to mess up your career in my mind.
Yes, absolutely, Paul. And before we get into the Premier League results, and then get your thoughts on the weekend's results for Arsenal and what it could mean for the title race with Liverpool potentially could win in next weekend. Before we go into that, just touch upon Newcastle's performance today. How fantastic were they to go out there and put a brilliant performance in, considering what happened to Eddie Howe just less than 48 hours ago, went in on hospital on Friday evening.
Well, I mean, it was a brilliant performance by Newcastle today. They played very, very well. The performance by Harvey Barnes, not just with his goals, but with the way he dominated down the left-hand side. The passing, the interchange play, that when they got it right, Newcastle, I looked at that and I was so impressed with that. When they get it right like that, you can't beat that so easily. The quick passing, the fluid play that they've got when they go forward, and they get it right, it is very, very impressive.
Yes, absolutely. Brilliant choice for man of the match, by the way, Paul. I thought Harvey Barnes played absolutely fantastic this afternoon. Also, a couple of other players that stood out for me was Bruno Guimaraes and also Jacob Murphy. How good were those two today, Paul, as well in the Newcastle side today?
Oh, Jacob Murphy was very, very impressive, and I think that's the reason why they had to bring on Dorgu. It's the only reasonable conclusion that I got for taking off Garnacho and bringing on Dorgu, was the fact that they were not able to cope with the speed of Jacob Murphy down that left-hand side. So, down that right-hand side. So, it was overall a. Yeah, they really did play very, very well, did Newcastle. They can take that as being a Class A performance, especially in the second half.
Yes, absolutely, Paul. And what about Bruno Guimaraes? He looks so captain. He led by example today as well, didn't he, in that midfield?
Hard working in the midfield, did very, very well. The whole lot of them did. I don't see that any of them at all had a bad game. They all played very, very well, worked hard together collectively as a unit. They made life very, very difficult for Manchester United. And they defended very, very well too. They made it hard. Whereas Manchester United did not defend very well. They did entirely the opposite. And they did not look good going forward, because once Garnacho had gone off, that was it. The creativity had gone. They had nothing.
Yes, absolutely, Paul, absolutely. We'll come back to you in just a second. What we're going to do right now, we're going to bring Alison up to date with the Premier League scores from the weekend in just a second after this one. First of all, Media Radio Jingles Game says, I agree with your man of the match choice, Paul. Harvey Barnes has been impressive and has played fantastically in this game. The other Newcastle players have played absolutely well, as well as in his opinion. Their Manchester United easily led Newcastle score with their defence. I've got to agree with that. Let's bring you up to date with all the scores from the weekend's games this weekend thus far. On Saturday afternoon, it finished Arsenal 1, Brentford 1, Brighton 2, Leicester City 2, Man City 5, Crystal Palace 2, Nottingham Forest 0, Everton 1, Southampton 0, Aston Villa 3. On Sunday afternoon, it finished Chelsea 2, Ipswich Town 2, Liverpool 2, West Ham United 1, Newcastle United 4, Manchester United 1, as you've just heard. Wolverhampton Wanderers 4, Tottenham Hotspur 2. And the Monday Night Football in the Premier League is Bournemouth against Fulham. 8 o'clock kick-off tomorrow night. Let's bring you the table then for the Premier League. Now then, after those results from the weekend matches, and we'll start off with the bottom half of the Premier League table. Southampton relegated from the Premier League now, 3-0 defeat, 32 with just 10 points to their name in the Premier League table. Leicester in 19th on 18 points. They're still within a fighting chance, but I think they're potentially going to go down as well. Ipswich 2-2 draw today against Chelsea. They're in 21st place on 18 points. West Ham just outside the relegation zone on 35 points with a 2-1 defeat against Liverpool earlier today. Wolves, with that 4-2 win over Spurs, are up to 16th on 35 points, 2 points behind Tottenham Hotspur, and just 3 points behind Manchester United. Tottenham are in 15th, Manchester United are in 14th respectively, on Spurs on 37 points, Man United on 38. They're level on points with Everton, who go above Manchester United after their victory of the weekend. They're on 38 points as well. Crystal Palace are in 12th on 43 points after their 5-2 defeat to Manchester City. The Palace were 2 up in that game, incidentally. Brentford drew 1-1 this weekend, and they sit in 11th place on 43 points. Let's bring you up to date with the top half of the Premier League table now. Then in the top half of the table looks at it. In 10th is Bournemouth on 45 points. They play tomorrow against Fulham, who are sitting in 8th on 48. Brighton sitting between those two in 9th on 48 points as well. Aston Villa in 7th, 3-0 victory for them this weekend. They're on 54 points. Chelsea on 54 points after a 2-2 draw with Ipswich Town earlier today. Man City dropped to 5th despite a 5-2 victory over Crystal Palace yesterday. Newcastle, with that 4-1 victory over Manchester United, are up to 4th on 56 points, which can force despite a defeat yesterday to Everton on 57 points, sitting in 3rd. Arsenal are in 2nd on 63 points, and top of the table with a 2-1 victory over West Ham is Liverpool on 76. And the news after those results this weekend, if Arsenal slip up against Ipswich Town this upcoming weekend and they lose this coming weekend to Ipswich Town, and then Liverpool win their match against Leicester, Liverpool will be Premier League champions. And Paul, even that news there, Liverpool could potentially be Premier League champions next weekend if Arsenal slip up against Ipswich and they beat Leicester. How good have Liverpool been this season, Paul? And for me, I think they're deserving champions elect, aren't they, Liverpool?
Yeah, I think so. There's no race for the title anymore. It's over. If it's not over next week, it'll be the week after. This is, at this point, Arsenal have dropped too many points this season. Games that they should have won. They didn't have a striker, a strong enough midfield, especially in the centre of midfield. For me, they handed Liverpool the title as soon as the transfer window closed.
Yes, and just also a good bit of news for Liverpool fans this weekend as well, Paul. Virgil van Dijk on the verge of signing a 2-year contract extension to keep him at the club until 2027. Mo Salah, prior to this game this weekend, signed a contract extension as well. How big is that? How big is it that Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk are committing to their futures to Liverpool? How big a players are they going to be for Liverpool in the next couple of years or so?
Obviously a lot. It's not gonna be an issue, is it? Having signed those two players, you can expect them to win the league, I would say. Again, next season, quite possibly. Why not? They're doing very, very well. They're the moment, I would say, on top of their game overall collectively. I don't see it changing next season either, unless Arsenal can sign a striker, a midfielder, and something that can put something towards challenging Liverpool. City, well, they may well make some work in the summer as well, so they may well be challenging. It seems like clubs like Manchester United, Spurs, they're falling away.
Yes, absolutely, Paul, absolutely. You just touched upon there, Man City potentially making some signings and potentially moving some players on. We already found out last weekend that Kevin De Bruyne will be leaving Manchester City at the end of the season. How big a miss will Kevin De Bruyne be to the Premier League, say if he goes, say, like reports suggesting, potentially off to Saudi? How big a miss will the profile and the calibre of Kevin De Bruyne be to the Premier League?
Oh, I'll miss him greatly. I'm not a Manchester City fan, but I will miss him greatly. His abilities are beyond question, in my opinion. He's still, in my opinion, one of the best midfielders in the world. It's a shame he's moving on. I would have him in the Arsenal lineup in a second, and he would get in the centre of that midfield ahead of Thomas Partey.
Yes, absolutely, Paul. Really good chat there. For me, I think he's already done that. He's for the title. He's no longer a title race now, and I don't think he has been a title race for the past few weeks. I think Liverpool could potentially win it next week with the way Arsenal are playing. I'm wondering, Paul, whether Arsenal are focusing to putting all their eggs in the Champions League basket and taking their eye off the Premier League with the poor performances in the Premier League recently for Arsenal. Do you think that's a possibility, Paul?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, it's the performance at the weekend kind of indicated that, really. The it's it and the you have to remember also, and the 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 oh god, the fact that they had put out such an understrength lineup yesterday.
Yes, absolutely, Paul. I did notice the lineup. I was surprised when I saw the lineup yesterday compared to what it was in against Real Madrid in the 3-0 victory at the Emirates against Real Madrid. I was surprised with how heavily rotated that is. So, like you said there, Paul, I think, like I mentioned, they are putting their eggs in the Champions League basket. Trying to try and get. They're all going to be back in the Champions League next season, whatever happens, when they finish in the top four of the Premier League. But they want to try and get back into it, go into it as the holders of the competition. And we've doing a really good job of that. We've already beating Real Madrid by 3-0 from the first leg, and anything can happen in the second leg if Arsenal get an early goal. Could potentially be tie over in that one, and also can look forward into the next round of the Champions League. We just have to wait and see which Arsenal side turn up on Wednesday evening when you bring the game here on the commentary there for the listeners to listen to on Wednesday evening. And it'd be good to get you and JB back on just to see if Villa can bounce back from their defeat in the first leg to PSG as well. So 2 good games on the way this midweek, and then also coming up in the next week or so. Next weekend we'll have more Premier League action, but then weekend after we've got both of these semi-final legs from the semi-final ties from the FA Cup. That's going to be an interesting one. See who gets into the FA Cup final in a couple of weeks' time. Crystal Palace against Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest versus Manchester City. Paul, those 2 ties. I'm looking forward to watching those 2 ties in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, these sort of games are going to be really, really interesting. I'm really kind of looking forward to seeing Manchester United, to seeing Manchester City, see how well they do in the semi-finals. The last thing they've got now to win is the FA Cup, so it'll be interesting to see how all that plays out.
Yes, it will indeed. Thank you very much then, Paul, for your coverage and your commentary and your opinions throughout this broadcast this afternoon, this morning, or this evening, depending where our listeners are tuned in from. Thank you to you, the listeners, for tuning in as well. A big thank you to the man behind the scenes, pressing all the buttons, our good friend Nicholas Jones. Make sure you stay tuned in, and you may see him, you'll even back on there when he does the WRC World Rally Championship videos, which he's really done a sterling job at this season, and also done a sterling job with the FA Cup predictions, FA Cup draws as well, Nicholas. So really good to have Nicholas still working with us behind the scenes as well on our commentary coverage, and really shows that he brings to the channel. So for myself, Russ Vernon, Paul James, and Nicholas Jones, and the rest of the team here at the Commentary Hub, before we do leave you, we just want to say a big happy birthday to a good friend of ours who used to be a colleague on the Commentary Hub, Mr. John Kane, who works over at Football Live. For myself, Paul, Mike, Nicholas, JB, and the rest of the team, John, very happy birthday from us to you, my friend. Hope you're having a great day, and everybody else here on the Commentary Hub, thank you very much for listening. We'll see you again soon. Take care. Goodbye for now.